Spruill. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks, have seats.
Ms. Bowden, according to your complaint, you were planning your wedding.
Yes.
Very elegant affair. You wanted to wear your hair up. You needed some hair extensions to give it a little fullness.
Correct.
The defendant had recently opened a salon in the building where you work. You went to her. She did a hair weave. You say she destroyed your hair. You want all your money back, plus a lot of pain and suffering and aggravation, etc.
Yes.
The defendant says you left her salon happy, and she is counterclaiming for money that she says that you owe her for the balance of the work that she did. Did you have any recommendations?
Basically, she moved into the office downstairs, and she was talking to a coworker of mine about hair fusion, and she said she would do a wonderful job, that it would look very natural, and that it was very easy to remove. So then I contacted her a couple days later about it. She said it would cost $500 plus the cost of hair, and that I would have to buy the hair and the wax that comes with it. So I said that sounded great, and she picked up $100 in cash to go buy the hair and the hot wax with, and everything was fine. She showed me the hair, and then she showed me the wax, and the wax was black.
Your Honor, that's not true.
Just a minute. Let her finish.
It was in a brown package. It said brown, but the color was actually black. It was way too dark for my hair. And then we began the process. She said it wouldn't look obvious.
Well, if the wax looked black, why did you let her? And you thought you were going to see it. Why did you let her continue?
She told me it would not be visible at all. It would blend in fine.
Just a minute.
That it would blend in fine. It would not be noticeable.
Okay.
And I believed her.
You still didn't give me an answer to my question, however, that I asked you first. Did you ask for recommendations or referrals?
No, I did not.
That was a mistake.
Yes, I admit that.
Good.
We went ahead and started doing the process. It took about 8 hours that day, and you could see where my hair ended and the other hair kind of came through. It wasn't very full, so it was very obvious that I had extensions in. She said that we could fix that on Monday. We made another appointment to finish it on Monday because I had extra hair left over. That day I got home, it began falling out immediately. It was just clumps of hair.
The extensions?
Yes. Monday came around about 2:15, 15 minutes before our appointment. She had to cancel because she had another client. Fine. No big deal. We rescheduled for Tuesday. She didn't show up. She didn't call on Tuesday. Wednesday, I called her and told her I wanted my money back and wanted a refund because I was losing the hair that was supposed to last up to 5 months. And at this point, it wasn't even going to last until April 6th for my wedding, which was the whole point of doing this. She said she did not accept refunds. She made it sound like she was going to press charges against me if I did not pay her the remaining money, because I paid her $200 cash on Saturday, and we agreed that I would pay her rent on Monday.
Rent?
Yes, because I worked for her landlord, and that I would pay in check form her rent.
Which was how much?
$300.
So?
So we discussed that on Friday we would get back together, and she would take all the fusion hair out and do a sewn-in weave. And she said, we'll do it Friday. Free of charge, just pay the extra $300 that you owe for my rent. I dropped that check off on Thursday, met Miss Spruill the morning of Friday, and she didn't know how to get the fusion out of my hair. She started with toenail clippers, clipping it out. Then she had me bring in pliers that were old pliers that I had around the house that she used to clip it out. And then she took a hot curling iron and tried to melt it out of my hair. You know, and at that point, I didn't know what else to do because she's melting stuff out of my hair.
How about getting up and walking out?
I know. I have half a head of hair. Some melted out, melted pieces in my hair. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to go in public.
Not the only salon in town.
I know.
Go ahead.
She finished doing that. Then
so
she's
she
like,
got all the extensions out?
No. No. There's maybe 5 or 10 out at this point, and mostly in the back. She didn't buy any remover, so we went to the store and bought remover.
What's remover?
It's an acetone-based remover that's used to remove extensions that she had said was very easy to use.
Was this all done on Friday?
Yes.
So after the toenail clippers and the scissors and the pliers, you went and got
and the
curling iron. Then you went and got the acetone remover. So the acetone remover was the last thing you went and got. Go ahead.
So she dabbed it on a little bit on one of the extensions, and it got hard. And I know now that that's what it's supposed to do. I didn't know how to use the remover, and apparently, I mean, she didn't really know what to do with it, so she called 2 hairstylists while I was sitting there to see if they knew. She didn't get in touch with anybody. Nobody really had an answer for her. So she said, well, why don't we just go ahead and put the weave on top of the fusion. I'll braid the weave in on the top, and the fusion will eventually fall out on its own. And at this point, you know, my hair, I peaked, and I have wax just
So what did
sticking
you
up.
say?
I said, go for it. At this point, I know, but at this point, I didn't really have any options, and she was
Of course
already
you did.
this. I know, but she was already this far. I needed
course you
something
had
to cover my
options.
head up.
A kerchief. I don't know if they use
But I
that
was
word
very
anymore.
scared, too. I mean,
Scarf.
there was nobody in that building, Your Honor. There was nobody in the building.
So,
But I was
in what
scared.
city do you live?
Raleigh, North Carolina.
That's a big city.
Yes.
There are lots of salons.
I know, I know.
All right, so you let her complete this weave.
Yes.
Some over the other extensions, some without the other extensions, and then what happened?
Basically, she turned me around, and it looked like I had a giant helmet on my head. It was about this high up, and it just was huge. And she used 2 packs of hair, and later on I found out that 1 pack of hair is standard. And I have pictures.
I'd like to see the pictures.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Kelly Bowden says hairstylist T. Spruill did a terrible job on her hair weave. Kelly says the procedure damaged her natural hair.
Now everything is okay, because now her hair looks fine, so don't get upset, Miss Bowden. Please be
No,
quiet.
it's not fine
Well, it looks fine.
at all. Yeah. I also have the hair with me that she took out.
You finally had it removed by another salon, I assume. Is that
Yes.
right? Okay. Let me hear.
Okay, I left one shop that I had been there for a total of 8 years, and I moved out of the salon and tried to start my own business.
Get to the plaintiff.
I was talking to Jenny, the lady that works upstairs with Kelly and I, and I was going to do her hair, and Kelly came in and overheard the conversation, and she wanted me to do her
I
hair.
got there. The pictures look terrible, Miss Spruill. The pictures look really awful.
Okay.
The wax, clearly, I mean, I don't know why anybody would want to go through that torture for 8 hours. I can't
Again.
sit still for 2 minutes. The wax is clearly not the right color. Her hair is light. This wax is black. It clearly wasn't right, didn't look right. She says that the extensions fell out, which I'm sure they clearly did fall out, because she came back to you and said, do something else. She says that you didn't know how to get the wax out because you tried many different techniques of getting the wax out. I want you to address those things.
Okay.
A, let's go to the fact that the wax was the wrong color.
Okay, first of all, when I went to the store to get the wax for Kelly's hair, there were 3 different colors, which was black, brown, and blonde. I picked the brown out. That was not black wax.
But it looks black.
It probably looks black, but it definitely wasn't. It was brown.
Whether it looked or whether it said brown, whether it said black, whether it said chartreuse, it was the wrong color for her.
Okay, all right.
I mean, is there any question in your mind that it was the wrong color? It looks like a totally different color than her hair color.
Okay.
I mean, you want to see the pictures?
No, I don't.
So you saw them already. So how do you justify that?
All I can tell you, it was brown. That's what I read on the pack. It was brown.
That's not her fault. That's your fault. You're the expert. And once you put in one and you look at it and you see that it's the wrong color, then you stop immediately. You stop. You say, I don't know, this says brown, but it's clearly not your shade of brown, and it's not right, so we're going to stop now.
I couldn't give her jet black, and I couldn't give her blonde.
Then do nothing. Then you'd give her the wrong color? I mean, on that alone, you lose. That's not an excuse.
Well, as I was putting it on, I asked Kelly, I wouldn't even stop in between and ask Kelly how did she like it. I would, let her see the mirrors.
She's not supposed to be the expert. You're supposed to be the expert.
Okay.
You're working on her hair for 8 hours. You see, you're putting in a color that looks black. She has medium brown hair. You say, just a minute, either this is mismarked, or maybe there's another company that makes another wax that's a different color, but I'm not going to continue for 8 hours and put in the wrong color. Ridiculous. So I don't have to hear anything else. You don't get any money on your counterclaim. Nothing. Your actions precipitated this whole problem. You're the expert. She comes to you because you said to her, I'm going to do a great job. She wants her money back, $660. She also wants $3,999 for aggravation. Now, anything over the $660, madam, goes to your stupidity in not checking somebody's references that just moved into a building. You didn't do that. You were a dissatisfied customer.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to pay for the service because she did the wrong thing.
Right.
But it's not a windfall. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $660, which is what you spent. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
We had been through a week of this, and I just figured I would ride it out and then get it fixed.
She was very satisfied each time that she got up out my chair. She was satisfied.
I'm just not a confrontational person, and I was scared.
The $600, I'm trying to figure out where she got her receipts, and she owes me $300.
I'm never getting this done again, ever.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Montijo versus Osip, step forward, please.
21-year-old receptionist Colleen Montijo is suing her former roommate, 22-year-old homemaker Florence Osip, for unpaid rent, the return of personal belongings, and damage to the apartment caused by Florence's husband.
Ms. Montijo, you and the defendant signed a lease together for an apartment. I believe it was a 6-month lease. Is that right?
Yes.
According to your complaint, shortly after the two of you moved in together, the defendant's husband moved in with you. He caused some damage to the apartment. He caused some damage to the defendant, physically. She left, and it is your claim that she owes you for rent. I believe that there were 3 months left on the lease, and that she also took some property from the apartment. The defendant says she really had to move out. She thought the rent issue had been resolved. She resolved that with the landlord, and that she acknowledges that her husband did some damage to the apartment, but her security deposit should cover that, and that she took nothing from the apartment. So, when did you sign this lease?
In November?
And did you know each other before you signed the lease?
Yes.
How?
We've been working together for about a year before that. We used to work at U-Haul in the corporate office, and actually her husband was living with us the whole time.
So, was it the three of you who signed the lease?
No, because she had a verbal agreement with the landlord that he would not be living there.
But he was?
Yes.
What was the rent on the apartment?
$528.34,
And how many ways was that split?
2 ways.
Now, tell me about why you moved out.
I moved out due to problems that were going on. Also, I was getting back with my husband.
What do you mean getting back with your husband? I thought
We
he was
had
living
been
there.
separated. He moved out in December, and in January we started talking, and I had advised Colleen in the middle of the month that I would be moving out. Also due that we had both quit our jobs in the beginning of the month, and that we weren't going to be able to make the rent. It was something I knew that was going to come up. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make it, and which she was aware of because she also quit our job.
Okay. Now, she says that she moved out because she was getting back with her husband, and she told you about that. Is that true?
No, she left in the middle of the night. She didn't come back for like 2 days, I think it was. She showed up to gather some of her belongings. She says, oh, I'm moving back to Albuquerque with my grandmother. Can you find somebody else to live with you? And I said, what other choice do I have? And then on Tuesday the 29th, she came to get the rest of her belongings, and it was me and my daughter. We were there. She was taking out her stuff, and I said, so what are you doing? And she goes, oh, I'm moving back to Albuquerque with my grandmother. I said, okay. I knew it was a lie because I knew she was back with her husband, Philip, because her mother-in-law was sitting in the parking lot, which is Linda. And later that day, I had left because I had a job interview, and when I came back, my TV, my VCR, my pager, they were all missing. There was no force of entry. The only way into the apartment was by key, which she had.
Let's stop for a second. Were you still in the apartment in February?
Yes, I'm still in the apartment.
Okay. Do you have a roommate?
No, I don't. Nobody will move in with me because they fear Philip.
Whatever. Okay.
Your Honor,
Why do you think that you are not responsible for the rent for 3 months?
Well, actually, Your Honor, I have a document from the owners of the apartment in which they've agreed to release me from the lease
Let me
and
see.
let her transfer into a one-bedroom, which will release both of us from the lease.
Let me see.
So she has no obligation to stay in the two-bedroom apartment,
Let's see.
which she has plainly advised him she couldn't afford the two-bedroom, but can afford the one-bedroom.
Just a second. Okay. I imagine this damage to the apartment is damage that you all agree that your husband did in a violent rage by making holes in the wall. Right?
Yeah.
Oy. Do you have proof that you paid the landlord $125?
I haven't paid the $125 because
Then
she has not agreed to transfer to the one-bedroom.
no. This says that as soon as you pay $125 for the damage that was done by your husband to the apartment, they will offer the plaintiff a new lease on a one-bedroom apartment, which would reduce her rent. This says that she doesn't get that offer until you pay $125.
That's where my deposit comes in, because I had a one-bedroom on my own. I paid a $175 deposit, which was transferred. She paid nothing when we moved into the two-bedroom.
That's not what this says. This says you have to pay $125 before they can offer her a new apartment. So you owe her your share of the rent for 3 months. You can't just leave her high and dry and because of damage that he did to the apartment. What kind of responsible behavior is that?
They were allowing her to get a smaller place, and when she found out she can sue, she decided to stay in the two-bedroom.
Listen to me carefully, madam. You just handed me this document. Did you read it before you gave it to me?
Yes, I have, ma'am.
Well, you didn't read it carefully. You want me to read it to you carefully?
No, that's not necessary.
Plain, simple English. Now, when you moved out of the apartment, your mother-in-law was there to assist you? The answer is yes or no.
Yes, ma'am.
Where's her TV and VCR and pager?
That I did not remove. I removed all my belongings while her and her daughter were there, and I never returned back to the residence.
You reported that these items were missing?
Yes, I
Can I
did.
see bills for them?
Bills. I don't have any bills because they were a gift for my birthday last year. I do have letters from my parents and my brother who the gifts were from.
What kind of television was it?
It was a 19-inch Sanyo TV.
What about the VCR? That was also a gift?
Yes, that was from my brother.
Somebody took her property. Now,
And
whether it was you, your mother-in-law, your husband came back and took it,
He never had a key to the. I took his key from him when he moved out in December.
then it had to be you or your mother-in-law. So you owe $792 for your share of rent, and I'm increasing that to $1,000 to cover VCR, little television set, and a pager. Got to do the right thing. Judgment for the plaintiff, that's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
6 on the calendar in the matter of Newman versus Glad. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Sir, have a seat, please.
Mrs. Newman,
Yes, Your Honor.
the defendants are your daughter and son-in-law, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to your complaint, there came a time when the three of you rented a home together.
Yes.
And something happened, and you claimed that they locked you out of the house and then proceeded to either destroy or damage your property. The defendants say that they gave you plenty of time to get your stuff out of the house, and they have a counterclaim because they say that you owe some rent, some utility bills, and also that you took some property that belonged to your daughter. When did you lease this house together?
October 15th of 2001.
Why?
Well, Your Honor, they needed to move from where they were living. The house was being sold. They could no longer continue to live there. They went apartment hunting. They found this house to rent. Then they asked me to move in because the rent was $2,300 a month, which they could ill afford on their own.
Where were you living at the time?
I was living at my mother's house. I didn't need to move anywhere.
Never a good idea to move in with your children if you can avoid it.
I know that now.
But you agreed, and the three of you signed a lease?
No, they signed a lease. I was never aware that there was a lease, and I moved in there sight unseen.
Did you move in with furniture?
Yes, I did.
What furniture?
Bedroom set, wall unit, dresser, the microwave, my kitchen table, kitchen chairs.
Okay. What happened?
I worked that day on a Tuesday, 3 to 11 shift. Nicole called my son, Jason Newman, to give Mommy the message that we've changed the locks on the house, all her furniture is in contractor bags at the curb, and remind her that tomorrow is Wednesday, garbage day.
Had you had a fight?
We had had problems prior to that, Your Honor. I have police reports. The first incident was February 10th. As the police report states, my mother came over, that was a Sunday morning. We were going to take their son, Neil, out to breakfast. At that time, Charles said, no, the baby wasn't going with us.
That's not true.
Just a minute.
A verbal argument ensued between Charles and my mother, at which point I called the police when he laid his hands on her and he pushed her. She's 71 years old, and at that point, that's when I called 911.
Now, from February 10th to February 20th, were you living in the house?
Yes, I continued to stay at my mother's.
Okay. And on February 20th, you were advised that your furniture was outside.
Right. What I did take, Your Honor, I have pictures of the condition.
So it's mostly the clothing and your personality that you're complaining about that was damaged, is that right?
Exactly, and the kitchen table.
Well, where is the kitchen table now?
I have it, but I have the difference between what
see.
it looked like before and what it looked like after. I have more pictures also, Your Honor. That's how they just threw the stuff, you know,
Okay,
all
let me see
over.
the rest. All right, who's going to speak for you?
I will.
I have a few questions for you.
Okay.
First of all, the lease to this house is in your name, is that correct?
Yes.
All right.
Mine and my husband's.
What day did you move out of the house?
February 10th.
Under what circumstances?
Basically what my mother told you, the whole thing about her and my grandmother wanted to take our son out. We used to go over to my in-laws every Sunday for dinner. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, my mother and grandmother decided that they were going to take my son shopping or wherever they decided. And I said, you know you're not going to do that. I said, you know that we go to the Glad's house every Sunday for dinner, and Charlie's not going to let you do that. They don't get along with my husband. They hate him, so they figured, well, we don't care about the Glads, so
Well,
we'll
why would you invite your mother to live with you if they hated each other?
They didn't before that. They didn't before we moved in. Everything was supposedly okay. I don't know.
Then everything was okay. So what happened between October and the beginning of February? That's not a long time.
A lot.
According to at least something that I surmised from these papers, you and your husband were not getting along.
Right. We were separated.
You were separated but
Yes.
living in the same
Yes.
house.
Different rooms, yeah.
And according at least to, I believe it was your mother in her complaint, she indicated that either one or both of you were dating other people. You were living sort of separate lives.
Yeah.
Is that right? Well, that's kind of outrageous to have brought your mother into that situation where she had to tolerate that.
It wasn't. We separated when we were in the house.
I understand that.
Okay.
So what? That's sort of unconscionable. You bring your mother into your house to share the rent. You and your husband aren't getting along. You separate. He's in his room. You're not talking to each other. You go out with guys. He
We
goes
were
out with
getting
girls.
along fine. It was mostly over money, and it
You're not
was,
getting along fine if you're living two separate lives under one roof.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Diane Newman says her daughter Nicole Glad and her son-in-law Charles Glad are responsible for damaging her property. Diane claims whatever they didn't destroy, they're holding hostage.
Did you discuss the trouble that they were having with your daughter?
Yes, Your Honor, she let me know, I would say in December at some point, just before the holidays, she let me know that Charles now has a girlfriend, and she further said to me that as far as he's concerned, Charles said, I have nothing to do with you, Nicole, financially, you're on your mother. And from that point on...
It was in January. We didn't.
So let's say it was January.
Okay, excuse me. And
All
from that
right.
point on, whatever her bills were, he contributed no money to her support. I bought her whatever she needed, cigarette, whatever it was.
I'm getting the picture. What I'm trying to do is to create a picture for myself. Now, what I want to know is, which one of you packed your mother's things?
My husband.
How did I know that? Wasn't that a good question to ask? How did I know that he packed the stuff like a slob?
Your Honor,
How did I
the
know that he
stuff-
packed this stuff like a
most of
slob?
her stuff was already packed. It was in the basement. She never unpacked it since we
Fine.
moved
Then
in.
who threw the food in there?
I
don't know. Let me tell you something, Mr. Glad, and you too. You had no right to treat your mother's property with such disrespect. If you were a decent human being, then you rent a U-Haul and you carefully put your mother's stuff in the U-Haul and you bring it over to and you bring it over to your grandmother's house. You don't take your mother's property that you brought to your home because you needed her to cover your bills.
Your Honor, we would have gladly moved into a one-bedroom apartment for $800 that we could afford. It was my mother's idea for all of us to move in together.
Your Honor.
Just a second. Say, if you're grown-ups, you're married, you have a child, say, Mom, thanks very much for your offer, but we're a family. We're a family, and we want to be by ourselves.
I see my mistake now.
Oh, it was definitely your mistake, madam, especially since I cannot believe that from the end of October when you moved into December, he just got a girlfriend.
First of all, it wasn't a girlfriend.
I cannot believe that in that short 6-week period of time, he found himself a girlfriend. In any event, whatever damage that was done to her property is your responsibility. Period. Because if you didn't watch your husband pack your mother's property, somebody who interspersed her clothes and property with garbage just to be nasty. What?
On the 14th, we were advised by the landlord of the house to change the locks because my mother-in-law threatened $20,000 worth of damage to the house. Change the locks, put her stuff outside, have her come get it. We verbally agreed on a 10-day notice to move out. She would have everything out within 10 days. I then, with my wife, put everything outside the house.
And I'm telling you that that's not the right thing to do. The right thing to do is if you have a family and you've caused the problem.
We did.
You caused, yes, you did.
Okay.
Young lady, you and your husband caused the problem. Put your hand down, madam. I don't want you to say anything for a reason. You don't have to say anything else to exacerbate the situation. They could be mad at me. I have broad shoulders. They don't have to be mad at me.
Thank you.
You created the problem. He found a girlfriend. He said, I'm not giving you any more money. Don't go, just because you're back in the bedroom together doesn't mean that all these things didn't happen, madam. And it happened in a relatively short period of time. You suckered your mother into a situation, or at least he did. Maybe he had it in his mind all the time that he was going to dump you with your mother. I'm not sure. That's a possibility because he looks like a cutie pie to me. He may have figured out all the while, I'm going to get her in there with her mother, dump her with her mother, and I'm taking off. Maybe
Except
that's what
he was opposed to this. I'm the one that said, let's go with my mother. We could get a whole entire house. Our son can have a backyard to run around and play with, rather than an apartment.
I am sure at that time that you didn't know that he had a girlfriend.
He didn't.
Trust me. Trust me.
Okay, because
Trust me. The fact that things are back on track now is very nice. We're not going there. All I'm telling you is you did the wrong thing.
I've moved my mother so many times, Your Honor. I'm tired of it. I'm sorry, but I think that she is more than able to move her own things now.
Good. So you're going to pay for it. Now, what was the damage to the property?
Let's see.
Let me see.
I have an itemized list here.
Let me see. What was the last month you paid rent?
In February, instead of $11.50, Nicole came to me on the 7th of February and said to me, Charlie only has $800. He does not have $11.50. Do you want to wait until the following Thursday, which would have been the 14th, to pay the rent, or do you want to put up the money for the $350 that he's short? I have a photocopy, Your Honor. This is in Nicole's handwriting of her checkbook. That says on February 8th. It wasn't stolen, Your Honor. Nicole's car was repossessed. She left her checkbook in my car because she needed a ride to get to the bank.
Ma'am, we have a police report, and her brother's a witness to her stealing it and returning it to the police officer.
My brother admitted to the police that we took it. She gave it back to the police, and then the police gave it back to us.
On what date did she take the checkbook?
February 11th, when they broke into our bedroom and stole everything else.
She didn't steal a whole lot of other stuff. She took back an engagement ring that she had given. Quiet. She took back an engagement ring that she had provided the diamond in the engagement ring. Was that the engagement ring that he gave you?
Yes.
So he gave you an engagement ring with her diamond?
No, my grandmother's.
Well, your grandmother's diamond?
Yes.
No, Your Honor.
It was the stone from my grandmother's.
Right
Whatever.
here.
Yes.
That's what she stole.
She didn't. She stole the ring. Yes, I told her gladly, keep the. I don't want the diamond. I want the ring back.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What else?
They also took back my son's crib and dresser, because that hurt us a lot. Because now my son doesn't have a crib or a dresser.
Well, you married some winner.
Thanks.
He has a child and he can't afford to provide the child with a crib. He's a winner.
Not can't afford. My grandmother.
I just
willingly
said
went
to
and
you,
bought-
if you have a child, you said you don't have a crib for your child. Isn't that
No,
what you
there is
just
a
told
crib
me?
now. We bought a crib, thank
Good,
you.
then you're not such a loser.
That's right.
You owe your mother $1,400. Let me get the account of claim and dispose of that very, very quickly.
Can I just tell you the utilities?
Rent, you don't get. Utilities, you don't get. Value of ring band. Let me see the value of the ring band. You made the diamond into...
All I have is the appraisal for the ring. I don't...
Then I have no idea what the ring band cost. What about the cable box?
My son thought that the cable bill was in my name, and at the same time when he took the DVD player, he did take the cable box. He will make arrangements with her, return it to them, no problem at all.
Within 5 days, the cable box is to be returned. What else?
That's all we're suing.
Good. Cable box goes back to the defendants and judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,400. That's all.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
You may step out. Wait here, please.
She just thought my husband was a bad man and that she thought he had a girlfriend from whenever, when she wasn't even a girlfriend.
He has no respect for her. The way he treats her, he verbally abuses her. He's very controlling of her.
My in-laws are nothing but pathological liars.
What a mistake she made with this marriage and getting hooked up with this guy. She can't see it.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Andrews versus Thorne. Step forward, please.
38-year-old homemaker Yolanda Andrews is suing former friend, 41-year-old daycare provider Michelle Thorne, for depositing bad checks into her account. Michelle says they were both involved in running a scam.
Miss Andrews, how do you know Miss Thorne?
Her daughter lives in the apartment behind my house.
And how long had you known her before this check incident?
About a year, I guess.
I'd like you to tell me about it because your claim is that she gave you a check to deposit into your account. You were being helpful to her, and the check turned out to be a bad check, which caused you all sorts of problems.
Right.
So tell me, when and under what circumstances she gave you this check?
Actually, first her daughter approached me and told me, well, since you lost your job and I see that you don't have any money or whatever, my mom can have you deposit these checks into your account and we can later take the money out and pay your bills, pay your car note, pay your rent. And she was gonna have me deposit these checks, then we were gonna go shopping and buy some things from the store and return them for cash. Please, oh Lord. This is what she told me.
So let me understand this.
Okay.
Her daughter comes to you and says, you don't have any money.
Yeah.
Because you lost your job.
My mom wanted
So
help.
we're going, my mom wants to help you.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to put in some money into your checking account so that you could pay your bills.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then go shopping to a store and buy merchandise and then return it for cash.
Mm-hmm.
And who was going to get the cash?
She was, me and her.
The two of you.
Right.
So she was really, according to your story, loaning you money.
She does this so that she can get cash for herself and for her, other people. She does these things for other people. She put these 2 checks into my account.
Just a minute, just a minute. Thank you, Bert.
You're welcome.
Okay, but the matter of the $440.60.
Just a second. So she deposits this money into your account, about $2,000, these 2 checks.
Right.
And then you go shopping.
We went shopping.
And what did you buy when you went shopping?
We bought a 19-inch color TV and a stereo boombox.
And then she was supposed to return those things to get cash for the 2 of you.
Yes. And then when I got a letter from Target stating that the check had bounced, she told me she doesn't have the stuff right now, and she'll pay for it. She'll take care of everything. She never paid it or never returned the merchandise. I got a letter from the district attorney's office, and the restitution is $440.60. I had to attend a bad check writing class, and, and I wrote a letter to the DA letting them know what really happened, and the district attorney's office told me, well, unfortunately, your name is on the check, so you have to pay.
You were involved in a scam, Miss Andrews.
That's right.
You were involved in a scam. You knew this was a scam.
Right.
Right?
Right, I was desperate, yeah, at the time.
What?
At the time, I knew, yeah, yeah.
At the time, you knew it was a scam, whatever you were doing. I don't quite understand it. It was clearly something that was not legal.
Right.
You understood that, right?
Yes.
Well, if you understood that, how do you... All right, I'm going to calm down. That's first. Let me explain to you, Miss Andrews, what we call in the law the clean hands doctrine. Somebody that is doing the wrong thing and gets burned cannot come into a court of law and complain about it even though they got the short end of the stick. Do you understand?
Okay.
So from what you're telling me, you knew that what the defendant was doing, and you as her accomplice, was committing a fraud. If you know it's the wrong thing to do, you then cannot come to court and say, I want you to help me. I want the law to help me. You can't do that. So goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
This is case number 555 on the calendar in the matter of Shoemaker versus Bollinger Mitzel. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated, sir. Have a seat, please.
Your name is Cammie?
Mm-hmm.
This is your aunt.
That's correct.
Do you like her?
I love her very much.
This is your mom.
That's correct.
So that's your sister. Right. How old are you?
18.
Why don't you have a seat? You stole your aunt's car.
Borrowed, I'd prefer to say.
When you borrow something, you ask for permission. You didn't ask for permission. What your aunt wants is some sort of restitution. Now, I don't know whether I 100% agree with her theory of where she gets to all this money she wants from you. But I want you to tell me when and why you took her car without permission.
Your Honor, it was the beginning of November, and that month had been kind of really bad. I just found out I was pregnant. The father of my child, we didn't know how to tell his dad, and so it was a secret that I was pregnant.
You have another child?
That's correct. I have a 2-year-old as well.
With the same fellow?
No, it's a separate father. So I found out that I'm pregnant, and we didn't know how to tell anyone. Well, that night, I'd actually found out that he was cheating on me with someone, and that the girl who he was cheating on me with was staying the night at his house. I was supposed to have been staying with him and my friend Jenny, and instead I wound going to my Aunt Linda's house, where I stayed the night.
Where had you been living?
Where I'd been living with Daniel, which is the father's parents. It was pretty messed up.
Oh, well, it is pretty messed up. You hadn't been living at your home at your mother's house.
That's correct.
So you had been living at Daniel's house,
Right.
who was the father of the child you were carrying, but not the father of your 2-year-old.
That's correct.
Were you living there with your 2-year-old?
Yes.
How long had you been living there?
For about 3 weeks. The arrangement was I had been hit by a car while working at Sonic, and my hip was displaced. So we moved in with his parents so that she could help me with Destiny
while you were recuperating?
Right.
Had you been living with Daniel before?
Yes, Daniel, myself, and our friend Jenny all shared an apartment with Destiny.
So you hadn't been living at home for a long time?
That's correct.
Now get to the car.
I was obviously under a lot of stress. I was really cold, and I put on my aunt's jacket. I'd been wanting to talk to someone all day, but because I couldn't tell anyone that I was pregnant, it was very hard to talk to someone. When I put on my aunt's jacket, there were keys in the pocket, and I knew there was a friend that lived a few hours south, and that it was pretty easy to just jump and go. I kind of used it as an escape route. Actually, I did use it as an escape route. I'm not proud of it. I admit I took the van, and I should be held accountable. However,
I don't feel that all of what she says that I owe her is true. I have the letter here if you'd like to see what kind of stress I was under.
I'd like to see it.
I also have, I went ahead and went on the internet. I downloaded my trip for how many miles I went. Maximum was no more than 100 miles.
Well, first you go on to tell her why you're doing all this and giving her instructions on what to do with your daughter. To turn her over to Daniel. Daniel is not Destiny's father.
Right, but at that time he had taken the role of being her dad. He still does.
Aunt Linda, I love you, and I'm sorry I took your van. I'm not going far. I assure you that if you don't call the police and report it stolen, it will be returned. Tell Destiny I love her, and I will be back, Cammie. Okay, so, Miss Shoemaker, I assume that you have affection for your niece?
Oh, yeah.
So I don't understand why this family matter became a court matter. I'd like you to explain that to me.
Because she could have went to prison for this. She could have went to prison for grand theft. And I told her that that she needed to make restitution. She needed to pay me my lost wages because for 2 days I could not work because I didn't have a vehicle. And the mileage she put on my van. But I told her, I said, I don't care, Cammie, if you give me $5 a week. You have 11 months, 29 days, whatever, but on that 30th day, you either pay me, have it paid in full, or you're going to jail.
That still doesn't answer my question, Ms. Shoemaker. My question is, this smacks of a family matter, and what I consider a close-knit family.
Right. Because she never did give me anything towards it except for $20 one time she gave to court to give to me. Every time I asked her about it, we either got in an argument and one of us left mad, but she never tried to even try to pay this.
Okay, how much do you earn a day in your job? What kind of job do you have?
I'm a hostess server.
How much do you earn a day?
When there's meeting rooms, I make $200 a day.
Okay, so let's say you make $200 one day. And what about the other day?
About $75.
So it's $275 for 2 days lost pay. What else?
And the rental. I went to some...
what rental?
Well, for the 3 days she had my vehicle.
You want her to pay as if she had rented
if
your car.
If she had rented a van for 3 days, what it would have cost her for 3 days for a van.
Shoemaker, that's what I don't understand. You know,
okay.
I can understand you saying, look, I don't understand it really, but with a stretch. I can understand you saying to her, because of all this, because you took my van, I didn't know where you were.
She could have went to jail for stealing my van.
Now, listen to me. Let me explain to Miss Shoemaker. She could have gone to jail if you complained. She wasn't a stranger. You got a letter from her telling you what kind of stress she was under. She's a kid. She's 18 years old. I mean, she's evidently a screwed-up kid because she's got a child who's 2 and she's pregnant with somebody else's child, right? And she's living all over. She's living in one person's house. She's living in another person's house. Clearly, she's all over the place and not tremendously responsible. But you want her to make arrangements to rent a van at that moment in emotional crisis, and it's a...
So I should be penalized because she's under stress?
No, but I want you to be penalized. I'm not suggesting that you be penalized. I asked you how much you lost in wages as a result of her taking your van.
I lost wages on Friday
with
and
$275. That's what you told me.
Right.
But then you wanted to pay you as if she had rented a car. Now, you weren't out that money.
No, but I was out my vehicle.
Yes, you were out your vehicle, and that, I believe, you should be compensated for those 2 days, if you want to proceed with it in a legal fashion. I mean, you're not saying to her, listen, if you don't do this, I'm going to send you to jail. In all probability, unless she's been arrested before and had prior convictions under the circumstances, she would not go to jail. She would not.
If Cammie had been pulled over, she would have been arrested.
She would have been arrested and gone to jail maybe for a day or for a day and a half until somebody came and got her out. But if the case ever went to trial, she would not be incarcerated. So I want you to get that idea. She's not doing 2 to 6 because she stole her aunt's car to go and visit somebody. It's not going to happen, Miss Shoemaker.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Linda Shoemaker says her niece, Cammie Bollinger, took her van on a road trip without her permission. Cammie says she needed to get out of town.
Go ahead, let me hear the rest, because you have a total here of...
Your Honor, my mom
$1,500. Shh. $1,500. I'm not getting there yet, so forget the car rental.
I still want the rental of my car.
You're not going to get it.
Okay, but she had my vehicle for 3 days without my permission.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It was the absolutely wrong thing to do. If it had been a stranger who came to your house,
I would have had him arrested.
You would have had him arrested, and in all listen to me.
Okay.
If they would have ordered the person to make restitution, it would not have included the rental for a car.
I only said rental because, you know, if she had went and got a car the same miles or same year, the kind of vehicle it was, it would have costed her $50 a day.
I want you to forget it. If you had rented a car to go to work, I would have said that's absolutely legitimate.
According to that letter, I didn't know but what Cammie was going to drive that car off a cliff. I
and
know
then you
she
would have
was
felt
under
very
a lot of-
badly.
I know, but I
would have felt
been
very
out of
badly. What else do you think you're entitled to, Miss Shoemaker?
Okay, the mileage.
Forget it. What's next?
All right. When I went to, after I picked Cammie or Destiny up, I went and filled my tank up. I always write my mileage down.
You told me. I don't want to hear the
miles here.
I don't want to hear the mileage anymore.
Okay, but she put 741 miles on my car.
Is your car a lease car, or did you buy it?
I was buying it.
Fine. What's next to bring this total up to $1,500?
Okay, I told Cammie she had 1 year to pay. And originally, it was the $600. When she didn't pay that, all she paid was $20. I had 10% per month for every month she did not pay me. Because all she had to do was make restitution. Cammie got away with stealing my car. I was out. I was scared to death. I didn't know where she was.
That should have
where
been your
my
primary.
vehicle.
That should have been your primary concern.
It was my
after you
primary.
read this note for somebody who was clearly stressed, and it's a young person whose judgment is impaired anyway, because it has to be with her history so far. She's got impaired judgment. Then I would have been more concerned over my niece than I was over my van.
I was.
Good.
But I was
that's what you should be concerned about, not your van. Your van you can replace. She should pay you what it actually cost you.
Your Honor.
What?
The 2 days that she was off work, my mother and I believe her son Robert as well offered to take her to work those days. Also, about 6 months ago, there was an argument. And at this time, I was put on bed rest during my pregnancy for 5.5 months. We had a lot of problems with the weight of the baby, and it was just really difficult.
Did you have this baby?
Yes, I did. He was born at 4 pounds and 12 ounces on June 1st. Every time I went to my grandma's house or I went to someone else's house, it was very hard to see my Aunt Linda because there was always real bad communication problems between the two of us.
Because she took her car, she was annoyed.
Right. And then there was a thing, I believe it was in June, at my Aunt Ginger's house. An argument broke out between my aunt and I where it was, you owe me some money, when are you going to pay me? And we both got a little upset. I had to leave because I was unable to be stressed. Well, my mother overheard a conversation between my Aunt Ginger.
Don't tell me what your mother overheard. If she wants to tell me what she overheard, she can tell me. Step up. You want to tell me about this conversation?
Okay. Apparently, Linda owed Ginger a bunch of money from some time back. And Ginger was annoyed with the fact that this had carried on and carried on and carried on. And she was concerned about Cammie's health and the baby. She went in and got some receipts of what she owed, what Linda owed Ginger. And she said, consider the debt that you owe me paid and leave Cammie alone. I mean, it was like...
Did that happen, Ms. Shoemaker?
No, it did not.
Okay.
My aunt
No, it
has
did
still
not.
agreed to it. She said that she would release her debt to my aunt.
Well, I don't know if she agreed to it. In any event, you owe your aunt $275, and that's what she lost from 2 days' pay. Period. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
My aunt has always been my favorite aunt, and I've always loved her. But for the last 15 months, we haven't even been able to cross paths.
Cammie needed to be taught a lesson because she stole somebody's vehicle.
It causes a lot of problems when you just react and then deal with the consequences later.
I don't think she learned a lesson at all.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Beltran versus Beltran. Step forward, please.
45-year-old telemarketer Christy Beltran is suing her ex-husband, 44-year-old electrician Edwin Beltran, for the return of her son's belongings. Edwin says he doesn't have them.
Mrs. Beltran, the defendant is your former husband.
Yes.
and you have a child.
Yes.
Boy. And you and your son and the defendant and your son
Yes, ma'am.
lived together while you were married.
Correct.
It is your complaint that after the divorce, the defendant refused to return some property that belonged to your son.
Yes, ma'am.
He says you took everything that we're entitled to in the judgment of divorce.
I don't agree, Your Honor. I thought I'd given her, she'd gotten everything from the divorce.
I just said that.
No, I'm sorry.
Gotta pay attention. Can I see the divorce judgment, please? Okay. So now tell me what you think he has that belongs to you.
When Mr. Beltran and I first got together, we were only married 3 years, but we were together 8 years. Over the 8 years that we were together, we had purchased together many different things for his child as well as my own child. At the time that I moved out of Mr. Beltran's home, all my son's things were still there. His toys, he collects Beanie Babies. He takes very good care of all of his things. He has had toys there from the time that he was 5 years old in the boxes that he was saving. He was looking at the collector value, the money value of these things. Mr. Beltran had been telling me and my son up to this day that he would bring my son's things to my son's father's home.
Things like what?
Okay, I have a list right here, Your Honor, of all the things that he has kept of my son's clothing, bedroom set, toys, everything that my son owned at our home.
Okay. So I'll hear from you now, sir.
Ma'am, that's not true. Last year, during the summer, her son had come over and, with my son. We had boxed up a bunch of stuff in a big garbage bag. The Beanie Babies I don't have. They sat in my house for a year after the divorce, and when I was cleaning house, I ended up giving them away. But I'd given her son the rest of the things that she says that he never got.
Your Honor, excuse me, but in December 27th, Mr. Beltran and I were in court on another matter. After we left the courtroom, out in the hallway, in front of my parents, who I've brought as my witnesses, Mr. Beltran told me that he would pack up my son's things and take them to my son's father's home. My parents...
What date was this?
December 27th of 2001.
Did you ever have that conversation with her?
I did to the Power Rangers, yes, ma'am. And, Your Honor, I was working a lot of overtime. I had never followed through on that.
The Power Rangers.
Some boxes, 3 boxes of some toys that she mentioned that were still in the original boxes.
So you have them?
I do have those, yes.
All right, well, then you should have said to me that you do have those and that you agreed to give them back to her.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you still have those?
I believe they're still in the closet upstairs. Yes, they are there.
Okay. Well, why don't you take a look at some of these other things and see if we can work this out.
Because I did not receive, Your Honor, none of my son's clothing, his CDs, his fishing pole, his tools that I had just purchased him the Christmas before we broke up. None of those items has Mr. Beltran returned to me or my son.
When did you break up?
We broke up in April of 2000.
What is an issue is that you have a judgment of divorce that you agreed to, signed off on a stipulation that clearly laid out all of the property that each of you was entitled to. Nowhere in this does it say bedroom set, Beanie Babies, Power Rangers, anything else.
Right.
So you don't have a legal leg to stand on. I want you to understand that.
I understand that, Your Honor.
Fine. So that what I'm trying to do here is to see if I can equitably come to resolve the issue between you. Since you did live together for a while, you do have a child. I'm certain that Mr. Beltran, while he probably doesn't see your son now, would not like it to end any worse than it already has. So if he has anything on that list, I'm sure that he'd be more than happy to pack it up and give it to your son. Other than the Power Rangers, sir, what else do you have?
His BB gun is still at the house somewhere. And as
Well,
far
as I'm concerned, the BB gun you could leave.
Okay.
The BB gun, I think you not only should leave, I think you should take it and break it and throw it away, because I do a lot of cases with BB guns. Take it and destroy it. What else?
That and a couple of the Power Rangers, and I don't know which ones I have that are in the closet.
Okay, but you do have some.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
All
Your
right.
Honor.
Within 5 days, I want you to box them up, and where are you going to bring them? Because you don't want to see each other.
Take me to her brother's house.
Fine, let's do that within 5 days, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Thank you very much. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
You own horses.
Yes, sir.
According to your complaint, you sold the defendant one of your horses.
Yes, ma'am.
The agreement was that the horse would remain on your property until the horse was paid for, and in addition to the payments that were to be made on a monthly basis, she was also to pay you for boarding the horse.
Correct.
When was the horse purchased?
In April 2001.
And what was the total purchase price of the horse?
Purchase price was, if she were to have a foal, a baby, $3,500. If she was not in foal, $3,000.
And she was in foals?
Yes, ma'am.
And she did have a
Yes,
foal?
ma'am.
When?
The foal was born, I believe, May the 10th or something like that.
So the total purchase price was $3,500.
Yes,
and then, unfortunately, the horse was struck by lightning and killed, along with the foal, while on your property.
Along with 2 of mine.
And you are suing the defendant for the remainder of the purchase price of the horse.
Yes, ma'am.
The defendant says that the horse was killed as a result of your negligence, and that she has a counterclaim for the money that she had given you on a monthly basis for the horse. Okay. How many horses do you maintain on your property?
Anywhere from 35 to 50.
Tell me about, was it the evening that the horses
It was
were
late
killed?
afternoon. In Florida, we have very bad storms. It happened around 5 o'clock on a Saturday evening. When they didn't come in to eat, along with the rest of them, I went in the house, looked out my bedroom window because the barn was fairly close, and found 4 of the horses dead. Well, I was just in a state of shock.
Where?
They were in a pasture where they had been, where I've used for years. They had gone under the shed, I guess, to get away from the storm.
Okay, so you heard this storm coming.
Oh, lightning struck, it rattled the house. I mean, it was just so strong. It hit so close.
Is there any reason why you didn't go out and try to gather these horses up
No,
when
ma'am.
you saw the storm starting to come up?
We can't do that. We can't. People don't do that. We have horses and cattle, and they're out all the time. And you can't go out when there's a storm. You know, we have storms in Florida all the time.
Has this ever happened to any of your other horses before?
Yes, we've had horses killed by lightning before.
How many?
Well, maybe over the 40 years that I've been in business, maybe 3 or 4, something like that.
So you knew that this could happen in a
Oh,
lightning
sure.
storm?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to see the contract that the 2 of you entered into. How much was she to pay each month?
$150 on the horse and $150 board. This is standard procedure when you sell a horse on time, to keep them until they're paid for, and keep their papers until they're paid for.
Sort of interesting, because title never passed to this horse, according to your contract. Is that right?
No, not in accepted horse business. The horses were her horses. I was keeping them until she could get them paid for.
How many horses have you purchased?
Throughout my lifetime, 15.
And of the horses that you purchased in your lifetime, did you receive the papers on them when you purchased them?
I received the papers, and the horse came to my property, and I signed an agreement that I paid them so much this way I didn't have to pay board. I worked with them every day.
Was this the first time that you had purchased a horse, that the horse was maintained on the seller's property until the horse was paid for?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Tell me what happened when you received the phone call that the horse was killed.
Janet called my home, and my family had called me. I was at a friend's, and said that the horses had been hit by lightning, and unfortunately they had been killed. She said it was a terrible tragedy for both of us, because 2 of her horses had also been killed. All of her other horses that she sells are in separate pastures. It's a huge farm. The area where the horses were killed, those were the only 4 horses in that area.
The 2 horses and the 2 foals?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
She called me back a little while later, and she asked my permission if she could bury the horses. And I said I would appreciate that. If they could be buried as soon as possible, simply because I just couldn't imagine birds and flies and that sort of thing going after them. And I told her that I would see her the next morning. I would drive out and pick up my equipment and naturally converse with Jan. I went out Sunday morning. My friends didn't think I could drive, and she had to work, so she had asked her brother to please take me up. And Jan showed me where the horses had been killed. Their imprints were still in the sand. And I said, nothing against you, but I need to see where they're buried. And she goes, I don't think that will accomplish anything. And I said, oh, it's not against you, it's nothing for you. This is for closure for me. I had a beautiful mare that just turned 4 years old, and I have a 12-week-old stud, and they're my babies, and this is just closure for me. And she said, well, I don't know where Jaime, that's the foreman of the ranch, she goes, I don't know where Jaime buried them. And I said, that's okay, I'll look, you don't have to take the time. But she goes, I think they're way out at the back of the farm. And I said, that doesn't bother me. I said, if I have to, I'll walk 6 miles to see them. I drove 200 and some miles every weekend to see them. I'll walk the 6 miles to see where they're at. So finally, she agreed, and she took myself and Mr. Steinberg up to the back of the farm, and she was true, it was a long way out there. But when we got there, they weren't buried. The 2 mares were sitting under these trees, and they were all bloated, and the flies, and there was tall grass, and I said, where's the baby? And she said, she didn't say anything at first, and so I asked her again, I said, where's the baby? And she said, the babies aren't here. And I said, Jan, where are the babies? And she said, well, the man came and got them last night. And I said, what man? And she said, the man with the truck. I said, what man with the truck? She said, the man from the wild animal rescue. And I said, I don't know what you're saying to me. And she said, well, he had to come last night and pick them up, or the meat wouldn't be viable. And I said, what do you mean the meat wouldn't be viable? And she said, well, thank you. She said, well, you know, Tony, she goes, dead is dead. She goes, at least something good came out of it. And she said they would have cut up the mare too, but even if they had cut up the mare, it wouldn't have fit in the back of the truck. And that's where they had left the mares.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Janet Lake says fellow horse lover Tony Bostwick owes for the unpaid balance on a horse. Tony says Janet's negligence caused the horse and her foal to be killed by lightning.
So I assume, Miss Lake, that the foals were either sold or given as meat to an animal rescue by you.
Yes, ma'am. These people down the road have an animal sanctuary. It's not a circus or any way they do anything. They take care of abandoned, abused, endangered species. And this is how people, when animals are killed, this is how they dispose of them. Normally, because it goes on as part of the food chain, and I realize it's a sad thing to do.
Had you discussed that with the defendant?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You discussed that with the defendant
beforehand? I said that I
beforehand?
was going to take care of them and try to dispose of the animals.
No. Take care of them and try to dispose of the animals doesn't say that you're going to try to turn them over to
I believe that I told her that I was going to try and have them picked up by the wild animal. Not the man with the truck. He has a small pickup. We
Did she ever
always
tell
take
you
them.
that?
She said
Miss Bostwick.
No, ma'am.
I wouldn't think that she would do that, because if you had told her that, she would not have made the trip a couple of 100 miles to come out to see where the horses were buried. And that is further evidenced by the fact that she insisted on seeing where the horses were, because she insisted that she would take her out to show her where the horses were.
Yes, ma'am, we
So
did.
I don't think that you had a conversation with her about disposing of either the horse or the foal the way you ultimately did. And I'm not suggesting to you that if they were your horses, you didn't have a right to do that. But if you claim that they're her horses, then you needed her permission to dispose of them.
Judge Judy, I've been in horses a long time. There are certain things that you should or should not do, and I realize that when a person has one horse, they're very upset. I tried to handle this in a nice manner. I kept them because they wanted me. She and her girlfriend, who was her witness's sister, came and bought the horses. They wanted to keep them there. They said how much they enjoyed their being there and boarding them there, and this was okay with me. And I said,
you say in your complaint, the mare was to remain on my property until she was paid for.
Yes, ma'am, but that was agreeable with her.
Whether it was agreeable or not, that was your condition.
Yes, ma'am.
So let me try to think of something within, more common knowledge, and I'm certainly not equating this animal with an inanimate object, but I've never purchased a horse before, so let's think of something. Let's say you purchased a refrigerator, and you put down a down payment, and the store owner said, this is like layaway. When you pay for the refrigerator, it will be yours. And then there is a tornado, and the entire store is consumed by this tornado. You think I'm going to pay for that refrigerator? No way. If you're boarding her horse and you require that horse to be on your property, you should have insurance, especially since you know that this has happened in the past and that horses on your property that you don't try to bring in, even though these two horses were close, could bring them in someplace where they would have been safe during this storm. You chose not to do that. No way in hell she's going to pay for it. It's ridiculous. If she had been given the option of taking the horse and been given the papers, or even you holding the papers and saying, as soon as you pay for the horse, I'll give you the papers, but you're welcome to take your horse to someplace else, then she has physical possession of the horse. Then if something happened to the horse, she certainly is responsible.
Judge Judy, if she had asked me to take the horse, I might have let her take him.
That's not the issue.
Okay.
The issue clearly is you state in your complaint that the mare was required to remain on your property until paid for.
Yes, ma'am.
And you say papers furnished when horse is paid for.
Yes, ma'am.
In your contract. So you're not going to get any more money from Miss Bostwick. The issue in this case is her counterclaim.
Okay.
And as far as her counterclaim is concerned, Ms. Bostwick, you are going to have to establish some negligence on her part. You tell me why you believe, and I don't want you to even entertain the thought that I'm going to entertain your claim for $5,000 for your emotional distress and your mental distress.
That's fine, Your Honor.
How much money did you give her in total for the horse?
There was a check for $300 for the horse. For the other months, it was $150 a month. Would have been April, May, June, July.
You mean after the horse died, you gave her $300?
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
She asked me for it. I was still going over viable meat. I couldn't even think straight.
What was it, $300 for board, or was it?
$150 was for board.
And
then
$150 was for the horse?
Yes, ma'am.
$750.
Your Honor.
Yes.
May I approach?
Well, step up if you have something to add to this, sir. What is your name?
My name is Floyd Steinberg.
Yes, sir.
The organization that the horse was donated to is a 501c3, which means there's a tax credit available on the donation, and the defendant has paperwork to prove that the donation was made by Jan Lake and not by Tony Bostwick.
Let me see it.
I've got one the same way.
Same thing.
Same thing. I never claimed this off on my taxes or anything.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yes, it is.
This is a letter that indicates that on August 19th, you donated the two animals to the Horseshoe Creek Wildlife Foundation for food for exotic big cats at our facility. Horseshoe Creek is a 501c3 non-for-profit foundation. No compensation was made to Jan for the horses.
Yes, ma'am.
That's not what the issue is. The issue is that you treated these animals as your own by making the donation.
Precisely.
If one of them was her animal, you had absolutely no right to treat it in any way as your own, which you did.
Judge Judy, she didn't ask me to do anything. She was so upset when I called her. I was so upset from losing the horses. This is just what I would normally do.
You treated them as your own.
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Lake, you took custody of the dead animal and treated it as it was your animal and did with it what you wanted to do.
She did not say not to do that.
You didn't give her that option.
Yes,
you just
ma'am,
thought that this
I
was
did.
the wise thing to do as an animal person. You know, the animal is dead and it can go back into the food chain. Well, that may be fine, but bottom line is you treated the animal as your property. Okay, the issue is whether she's entitled to any money back. And what I've indicated to you, Ms. Bostwick, is I want you to tell me why you believe that there was some sort of negligence on her part with regard to the care of this horse.
I have 2 sets of pictures, Your Honor. There were 2 barns on Mrs. Lake's property that were not used, that she could have housed my stud and my mare in. Instead, she had them in a pasture filled with trees, a one-sided lean-to, a large metal tub filled with water, and a metal hay rack, and the roof was metal. That's where she had them. She could have put them in a secure barn that was
sought shelter?
That's where they sought shelter, in that pasture.
Is that where they were killed?
That's
Under
where they
the
were
lean-to?
killed.
Let me see.
And I have pictures of 2 barns. This is the lean-to. I have pictures of the 2 barns where she could have housed those horses at any time.
You told me that the horses sought shelter under an enclosure. Is this where the horses sought shelter? That's what you told me, Miss Lake. Is that where they were killed?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Why didn't you bring them in when you saw the storm coming? Just these 4 horses.
I can't go out and get 45 head of horses.
I didn't say 45 head. I said her horse, for which she had paid you, board, and she was paying this horse off to you. So you have a responsibility with regard to her. Why didn't you go and leave your horse outside, but go and take her horse inside
Judge
in a
Judy,
barn?
I'm not going to risk my life to go out and get a horse, and this is not something that's done. People in Florida do not run out when there's a storm cloud and get their horses in. I'm not negligent, and I can't stop an act of God.
I'm not faulting you, madam, if these were your animals, but you claimed that they were hers. If that's the case, then what you have to do is put in your contract clearly that it is possible, since it's happened to you before, that you have severe storms in Florida, that the horses are outside, that it is possible that they could be struck by lightning, that the person who leaves their horse with you assumes that risk so that they are on notice that that could happen. I mean, if this is your business, and that's what you're supposed to do, so that the people who are leaving their property with you understand the parameters of their risk.
Yes, ma'am.
You have to do that.
That was my fault that I did not do that. Normally, for example, I have a breeding contract, and I said here where we're not responsible for accident or injury. Tony didn't sign that, but I mean...
Well, but no, it's important for me to see that this is available.
I understand. And I
okay,
like to...
fine. Listen to me. She has to have the option of this disclaimer and to say, I'm not accepting the terms of the contract. This clearly says that you and Ernest, your husband, doing business as Triangle Ranch, are not responsible for accident or injury or disease of any kind, while the above-mentioned mare and if in full nursing are in the care, custody, control, or otherwise left at Triangle Ranch. So you give a disclaimer, but you didn't in her contract.
I didn't on a contract.
Well, that's too bad. Then you have to give her back her money. Judgment on the counterclaim for the amount that you paid for the horse, the amount of $750. That's all.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out. McMillan versus McNair. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Young lady, have a seat, please.
Ms. McMillan, you and the defendant, I gather from your complaint, had been very good friends for a long time.
Yes, ma'am.
And you were having a difficult pregnancy.
Yes, ma'am.
The defendant, who was a good friend, came to help you. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
She came to help you emotionally, help you physically, and you claim that something happened. There was a big argument, and that she assaulted you.
Yes, ma'am.
Pulled out your hair, other things. You want to be compensated for that assault.
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you known her?
20-plus years.
Ever had a fight with her?
No, we did not have a fight at all.
When did she come to your home?
Friday evening, the 28th, September 28th.
And where did she live?
She resides in Landover, Maryland.
And where do you live?
At the time, I was living in Hampton, Virginia.
So she had to make a trip.
Yes.
Did she come alone?
She brought her 2-year-old son.
And she came because you were having some trouble. What kind of trouble were you having?
Well, at the time I had a healthy pregnancy. I had no problems until like the following morning.
What happened on the 29th?
I woke up, I had cramping. That Friday evening I started having slight bleeding. I went to the emergency room that morning.
Did she help you?
Yes, she took me to the hospital in my car. She watched my daughter, Imani, and her son while I was there at the hospital.
Now, when was this argument?
That happened Saturday evening, the same day, the 29th.
On the 29th?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me what precipitated this argument.
Well, I was upset, about the whole complication with the pregnancy. I came home and did complete bed rest like the emergency room physician told me. Go home, lay down, put your feet up, don't do anything else. My 9-year-old daughter was very upset, because she was scared that something was wrong with the baby. I was trying to explain to her, I'm having complications. Hopefully things will go well. I need to just lay here and stay still. And after explaining that to my daughter, Shakara, who I call Marshavon, that's her middle name, proceeded to say, I don't care. I don't want to hear any more about this effing baby. If it dies, it dies. You act like you can't have any more children. She was also upset because she really didn't agree with my pregnancy due to the fact the person that I was pregnant by, and she thought the whole situation was pretty much silly.
Silly?
So, yes.
Was it?
My ex-husband.
Okay, so go ahead.
So she got upset. She was like, you act like you can't have any more children. If the baby dies, it dies. So effing what? I'm tired of hearing about the baby. At that time, I said, would you please leave my home? I'm under too much stress. I don't need to go through this. So she said, fine. She didn't argue. She grabbed her bag, grabbed her son's belongings, and started walking towards the door. Well, I called my friend, and I said, you won't believe how she's acting, talking about Miss McNair. And so she said, I know you're not talking about me. And I said, just please leave my home. And she said, say something else. So I was like, leave my home. When I said that, she acted like she was walking to my front door. She turned around, got on top of me, and started pulling my hair out and punching me in my head. My daughter came over to try and get her off of me. She pushed my daughter. After she pushed my daughter came back to her, tried to pull her off of me, and then she got off of me and said, oh my God, what did I do? She said, I'm sorry, Tomka, I'm sorry. Let me help you. I don't know what got into me. And I immediately proceeded to call 911.
All right. And what kind of injuries did you sustain, Miss McMillan?
She pulled my hair out. I had 2 huge knots on the left front side of my head.
What do you think triggered her off?
I think one thing that upset her is that I called someone. I think that's the thing that really set her off, is that I called someone and was telling what happened as far as her being upset about me speaking about the pregnancy.
What happened when you called 911?
I called, I told them, I was just assaulted. They asked me what happened. I told them I was laying down.
But you didn't pursue the matter with the police, I assume. Is that right?
Yes, I did.
Was she arrested?
That evening, as soon as my mother came, picked me up, the officers told me, as soon as you possibly can, go downtown and fill out a criminal complaint.
Which you did?
Yes, I did.
What happened with that case?
They said they could not touch her because she was out of their jurisdiction. They would not expedite her from Maryland to Virginia, but they looked for her that night. They
and you wanted her arrested?
Yes, I did.
Do you still?
I love her. I've known her since she was in diapers.
All right, Miss McNair, tell me your version of the events.
The part that she said about me saying after the baby is dead, I would never say anything.
What did you say?
I said she needs to stop saying that, because she was saying, she probably would never be able to have children and her life is over. And I told her, you need to stop saying that. You're young, find someone who loves you and who wants to be with you. Maybe that's not what she wanted to hear at the time. So she said, if you don't like what I have to say, leave your home. I was upset, because I had drove down there to be with her. So I was getting my things and I was leaving, and she picks up the phone, like she said, and she calls her so-called friend, and she proceeds to talk about me. So I said to her, you don't have to disrespect me. You asked me to leave your home. That's what I'm doing. So we started arguing. She started yelling, and I started yelling. I just did not just act like I was leaving the house and attack her. No, that is not what happened. We were in each other's face. We were arguing. The next thing I know, we were fighting. I did grab her by the hair to keep her off of me. And as a result, some of her hair did come out. 2 weeks after the incident, I spoke with Tomka, and, you know, I apologized for what had happened as far as the hair thing. We were fighting on both ends. She was fighting me as well.
I was laying on my back with my feet propped up.
That's not true. So I apologized on my behalf of the damages that I had done. And because she had been my friend so long, I offered, you know, to pay for her hair because, you know, it was a silly incident. I just wanted to forget about it, so I did offer to pay for whatever hair treatments that she needed. She refused. And then 4 months later, I get papers saying that she's suing me.
Did you know that there was an outstanding warrant for you?
There isn't. No, we checked.
And I talked to City of Hampton Police Department just this past Friday. They stated to me that if she comes in Virginia, they're arresting her.
You don't want her arrested. I'm going to ask you again.
Honestly, after losing my child, I have nerve damage to the left side of my head. I've been to a neurologist. I think she needs to pay for what she's done. She pushed my daughter. She pulled so much of my hair out, my daughter actually spit my hair out of her mouth.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Tomka McMillan says during her pregnancy, she was assaulted by former friend, Marshavon McNair.
Let me see the hospital report, please.
And this is also the hair, my hair that she pulled out.
Is that your natural hair?
This is my natural hair that was tested, looked at by the neurologist, my hairstylist. This is from the neurologist stating the nerve damage to the left side of my head. And I also have a note from my gynecologist stating that I was pregnant up until October 2nd when he had to perform surgery because I had too much tissue loss. And he said that it was probably the stress.
Don't tell me what he said it was probably. Okay. I think you had a temper tantrum. And it wasn't so much that she asked you to leave the house, but that she called another friend while you were still there and talked about you. That was not smart, Miss McMillan. I don't know why you did that, just to make her more angry.
You're right. I mean, it was senseless for me to call.
It was senseless and it was insensitive because she was on her way out the door.
Right.
That doesn't excuse the physical nature of your response. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. But you've been friends for a very long time. And you said to me before something about, you know, I still love her.
I still love her. I mean...
So... But there were some serious things that happened to her as a result of this pulling out of her hair by the roots. There was clearly indicated there that there was trauma to her head area. I mean, this is all very bad stuff. And that you are responsible for. What were your out-of-pocket expenses, Ms. McMillan, as a result of this assault?
My insurance has pretty much picked up all my neurological appointments, my gynecological. The only thing that my insurance won't cover is the extensive hair treatments that I've had.
How much were the hair treatments?
I have it listed from my cosmetologist. It's $35 plus $10 once a month for protein treatments, $5 a week for moisture treatments.
And how long have you been having those treatments?
Ever since 2 weeks after the assault happened. I had to have surgery, and my doctor ordered me, you know, not to go anywhere for like 2 weeks after the assault.
How much have you spent in total?
I couldn't tell you. I mean, I never.
You have to tell me.
I honestly have no idea how much money I spent on my hair.
So let's say you've spent about $500 on your hair. That be a fair figure?
Okay, yes, ma'am.
You've not spoken until today?
No, we have. She's called like 2 or 3 times and left a message. I wasn't home.
Did you ever call her back?
No, I haven't called her number since like the day of the assault.
Well, she's sorry it happened. You're prepared to forgive her?
I can't excuse what happened.
I didn't ask you to excuse her.
I forgive her, but you know, because God forgives me. But
no, I asked you if you forgive her. And the only question that I have is whether you want her to have a criminal record. That's something that only you can deal with your conscience.
Honestly, I have double feelings. It's a part of me that looks at the friendship from when we were little, like 2 and 4 years old, and then it's the reality that, you know, my child is gone, my hair is gone, I can't feel the left side of my head. I mean, it's like I have mixed emotions. I don't want anyone to have a criminal record, especially.
Well, I want some people to have a criminal record.
What I'm saying is, I don't want anyone who I've grown up with, especially someone who's been my friend for 20+ years, to have a criminal record. You know,
you'll have to make that judgment. In any event, I am awarding you $2,500 on your claim. That's substantially more than your out-of-pocket expenses, and will at least cover some of your aggravation. You'll have to make a judgment as to whether you want to pursue this matter criminally or whether you want to indicate to the police that they need not look for her should she come into your jurisdiction again. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Parties are excused. You may step out.
I lost an excellent friendship.
I miss her deeply.
We never fought until that day.
20 years of friendship gone down the drain.
I lost a good friend.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Nordyke versus Gray. Step forward, please.
45-year-old auto repair shop owner Curtis Nordyke is suing his ex-girlfriend, 40-year-old secretary Barbara Gray, for the cost of a washer and dryer.
Mr. Nordyke, according to your complaint, during a brief separation from your wife, you dated the defendant.
Yes.
And then you reconciled with your wife?
Yes.
And after you reconciled with your wife, you sold a washer and dryer to the defendant?
Yes.
She picked it up, and now she refuses to pay you for it. The agreed price was $500.
Yes.
The defendant says that during that brief period of time that you dated, you owed her a substantial amount of money, which she has deducted from the cost of the washer and dryer. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, so first of all, you just have to tell me, when I read this case and I read your complaint, sir, why in the world would you sell anything to the defendant, who I'm certain was not happy that you and your wife reconciled?
Why would I sell it to her?
Yeah.
Because she had called. She had called asking if I was still going to sell the washer and dryer.
Yes.
And we said yes. She had called and talked to my wife, Pamela.
I mean, did you all know each other before?
Pamela and Barbara had talked on the phone quite a few times about the washer and dryer.
I want to know whether the two ladies were friends before your separation. I mean, did they know each other? Did
No.
they have a relationship?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Is that right?
That's correct.
You just knew that he was dating her for a while?
Yes.
Okay. You picked up the washer and dryer, and you agreed to pay him the $500 initially. Is that correct?
Minus the shopping trip and the birthday gift, and then the phone charges.
Had you ever discussed that with him?
Yes.
When?
At the time of getting the washer and dryer, that we deduct these things.
Did you tell him that when he said the washer
Yes,
and dryer's fee
yes.
was $500?
Absolutely.
Did she discuss that with you?
Not at all.
Not at all?
No.
Well, let's see. What was the first amount of money, and when was it loaned to him?
Well, the price of the washer and dryer was $100 or $500, and then I.
You're not following me, Miss Gray.
I'm sorry.
In the time that you were together, which was from when to when? Give me the dates. Maybe I'll make it easier for you.
August to September.
Did you loan him any money in August?
1st of September.
And on September 1st, what amount of money did you loan to him?
On our shopping trip, his charges came
What
to.
shopping trip?
His sons were in town, and we went to a surf shop, and I bought a bunch of things. My son got some things, Curtis got some things, and we paid for it all together. And I added up his share to $294.49.
You mean you put it on your credit card?
A debit card.
Did he ask you to do that?
Yes, we had an agreement that he would pay me back.
Show him the receipt.
I wasn't aware that I was to pay any of this back. It was told to me as a gift.
Well, tell me about that. You went shopping with your kids.
Yes.
And you bought things for your kids.
Right.
Why didn't you pay for them?
She insisted to pay for them.
What did she say to you?
As a gift. She says, I'll pay for it. I'll get it for the kids. There was no agreement. There was no tie-in with the washer and dryer on this at all.
No, forget
No.
washer and dryer. We're not talking, right now you're dating.
Yes.
Everything is nice.
Yeah.
You go shopping together.
Right.
Why didn't you pay for the things for your children yourself?
She asked to pay for them.
Did she?
Yes.
Is that right?
I took it as a gift.
You took it as a gift?
I took it as a gift, yes.
Okay. Go. What else does he owe you for?
Well, the cell phone is the worst one. The minimum amount he owed me on the phone bill was $183.04. Then the cost of the phone itself was $99.63. And now
Well, tell me about the phone. Why did you buy him a phone?
Curtis had just filed bankruptcy, and he couldn't get a cell phone on his own unless he bought a prepaid, and they're quite expensive. And I said, you could join my family plan, and he agreed he'd split the cost of the phone, and I never received a dime.
Split the cost of the phone how?
That he'd pay his charges and that we'd share the cost of the monthly access.
Okay. Did you have that conversation?
We had that conversation. The conversation was going to boil down to $20 a month, $25 at the most. It was a phone that she had put in her daughter's name. It was never in my name.
But you had a phone.
Yes, I had a phone.
You
for
had
about
a phone. Had you
phone.
had a phone
Yes.
before?
No.
So now you have a phone.
Right.
And you have charges on that phone.
We bought 600 minutes under
Right.
the plan. And as far as I know, I never went over the minutes at all. I never
Okay,
saw
so
the
let's
bill.
say you have 600 minutes as a plan. How much does that plan cost?
I'm not sure.
How much does the plan cost?
It's $69.99 a month.
So $70 a month.
But we
And how many
did,
months did you have the phone?
I had it for a month.
So that's at least $70.
We had 3 phones on that plan. She had set up 3 phones
So
on
you
it.
get 600 minutes, and that's for all 3 phones.
Right.
Did he go over his minutes?
yes,
Do you have his charges?
yes,
Can I see them, please?
yes.
No, no, no. Give them to him.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's why he came over. Okay. Are the yellow highlighted his calls?
Yes.
Well, it says the total calls on your phone were $183.04. Did you ever give her the $20 for the service charge, the access?
No, I didn't give her that.
Okay, so far, just those basics without the other thing comes to $497. Cost of a washer and dryer.
There was never any agreement of this other money, the gifts that she bought for
I
my
don't find
children.
that they were gifts. They
Okay.
weren't gifts for you. I believe that you went shopping together. She bought some things for her kids. You bought something for her kids. You put it all on one bill.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to pay her back. And even if there wasn't an agreement to pay her back, which I doubt, it would seem to me as a man, you would say, listen, I've decided that this relationship isn't working out. I don't want you to be out any money.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want the washer and dryer, I probably owe you at least $500. Take it. That's a gift.
That wasn't the agreement, though, the washer and dryer.
I just made it the agreement. Your case is dismissed.
Parties are excused. You may step out. 3 on the count in the matter of Rivers versus Moore. Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated. Ladies, have seats, please.
Mr. Rivers, according to the complaint that I've read, you and Miss Moore had a relationship, and you have a young child who is either 9 or 10 months old. Is that right?
That's correct, Your Honor.
It is your claim that Miss Moore caused you to be arrested for violating a temporary restraining order. That case was later dismissed.
Yes.
And you want her to pay you for the bail that you had to put up when she had you arrested, because you say that you never violated or threatened her to cause you to be arrested.
That's correct.
That's your claim. And Ms. Moore says that you did, in fact, threaten her. She is counterclaiming for some car nonsense that dates back a year or so ago, and also for clothes and furniture of the babies that you kept when there was this argument back in November. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Oh. You were living together in November of the year 2000 when there was an altercation in your home. Is that right?
That's correct, Your Honor.
And at that time, who left the house?
I did.
And the baby remained with you?
Yes.
And then you went to court
Yes, I did.
to have the baby returned to you?
Yes, I did.
The two of you are currently involved in a custody dispute over the baby. Is that right?
That's correct.
Yes, Your Honor. May I add that we did not go to court for her to obtain our daughter. What happened was she went and got a conflicting order that I had already had. I should say she got one just like I had one. And she came to the house, and the police interpreted it as a custody paper, when in fact it was a child protective order, which meant the authorities should have notified the Child Protective Service and removed the child from both of us.
Okay. Now, the judge issued a temporary restraining order at some point after this November incident. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Now, what I want you to do is to tell me when you were arrested for violating the temporary restraining order.
I was arrested, Your Honor, February the 23rd.
I'm asking you.
Oh, okay, my apologies. Oh, February the 9th. My apologies.
February the 9th.
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Moore, I would like you to tell me first, when was the custody case started
after the restraining orders were filed.
Give me the month.
It was December.
Who went to court to file for custody?
I did, Your Honor.
You did?
Yes.
And that was in December?
No. What happened in December, Your Honor, was we went to a hearing in regards to the 20-day restraining orders that we had previously received. I filed later on. In fact, I filed about a month and a half ago for full custody for my daughter.
Just a second. Was there at the time, prior to February 9th, an issue with regard to custody of the child?
Yes, Your Honor. DCYF was ordered to file dependency charges against me and the mother, and ordered us to be evaluated by a doctor.
Okay, is that matter still pending?
Yes, it is. There's one more visit to the doctor for me and my daughter.
All right. Now, Ms. Moore, on the 8th of February, Mr. Rivers had a visitation day scheduled with his daughter. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
Was that pursuant to a court order?
Yes, it was.
And what was his visitation schedule?
His visitation schedule was supposed to be every other week for an hour.
What day of the week?
They don't set a date because every time they set a date for him to go, he says he can't go that day.
Well, just a minute, but he had a date to go, February 8th.
Yes, he did. They schedule it when he's available.
Fine. Do you work?
No, I don't.
Well, does he work?
No, he doesn't, not that I know of.
Do you work?
No, Your Honor. I'm facing 3 surgeries, and I'm under doctor's care at this time.
Just a second. So you don't work either?
No, I don't. I can't not work, Your Honor. I had a spinal injury.
How long a period of time had elapsed before February 8th that you did not see your daughter?
Oh, well, I'm not exactly sure, Your Honor. It could have been a week.
Okay.
Or it could have been several weeks because I was having a great deal of difficulty with the Child Protective Service scheduling.
You had visitation scheduled February 8th. Was the
Yes.
visitation supposed to take place in the defendant's house?
No, the visitation was supposed to take place at the Child Protective Agency.
So she was supposed to bring the child to the Child Protective Agency?
No, they had, I guess, a schedule.
How was the child supposed to get to Child Protective for visitation?
There's a worker from DCYF. She comes and she comes to pick up my daughter, and she takes my daughter to DCYF to see him.
And you left the house on the 8th?
Yeah, she called like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ahead of time to tell me about that. And I just I didn't write it down when she told me, and I forgot. And my daughter had I had an appointment to see my daughter's pediatrician about her WIC papers for her milk. So that's why.
Baloney. Baloney. If you have 2-3 weeks and you have nothing else to do because you don't work, and if he's supposed to have his hour of visitation, that's an important enough thing to put down, as important as going to get WIC.
I have court dates and doctor's appointments I have to go to for
February 8th. So you weren't there.
So
the worker came, didn't find you there, and according to your statement, what happened?
The next day,
yes,
she came out. She had called me like maybe 10:30 in the morning. She asked could she come see the baby. I said yes, she could. She came in. She seen the baby. We talked for a while. She was telling me what he says, that he wants his visits through a court order or whatever. She wanted to reschedule another visit. After she left, I received a phone call from John. He said, "I got you. I'm coming for you," and he hung up. And I immediately called the police after that, right after I hung up from him.
Did he come to your house?
No, he did not. I don't think so. He just called.
What do you mean you don't think so?
Well, I heard a voice outside the window that sounded like his, but I didn't look out the window. I was on the phone with the police at the time.
Why did you call her the next day?
I never called her, Your Honor. The only people I called was the worker to inform the worker that I needed the worker to look into my daughter. I did not know where my daughter was. I didn't know if my daughter was okay. I want the workers to go out and check on her.
So you're saying that you didn't call her?
Absolutely not, Your Honor.
Well, your phone records would clearly show that. Did anybody look at your phone records?
I would imagine so, the police or my lawyer.
Mr. Rivers, it would be very easy for you to establish that you did not, in fact, place that phone call to her.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, that would be by bringing in your phone records, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have them?
Well, we don't.
The answer is
I don't
yes
have
or
any
no?
phone records because, Your Honor, where I place my calls are at Crystal's house. And she has a arrangement, I believe, with the phone company where they don't put down that information where you place your calls. Just toll calls, I would imagine.
But Mr. Rivers,
my lawyer,
Mr. Rivers, it sounds to me as if that's something that you might do, pick up the phone and get angry with her because she didn't have the child.
Your Honor, I will constantly talk to the workers. If I had a problem with April, it was being dealt with the courts. I had no reason to contact April.
It's very hard for me to make a decision with regard to that, sir, without some proof, and proof can be easily obtained with the phone company. You can, in fact, subpoena the records of the phone company, and they will tell you from your phone, from her phone, from anybody else's phone, whether a phone call was made to her house on the 8th of February.
Well,
Stop.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. John Rivers says the mother of his child, April Moore, had him falsely arrested for violating a restraining order. April says John threatened her.
Now, why was the case dismissed?
She decided to drop the charges, Your Honor, but...
Why is that?
I go in and out of court, every month for the court. I go in and out of court every other month. We go every month for the custody of my daughter. I go through so much stuff with him, and I just didn't feel, the lawyer that I had at the time, because I didn't have a lawyer, I had to go and stand in the line, and I talked to a prosecutor. He advised me that it was best for me to drop the charges because I couldn't prove that he called me.
Right.
So, since I couldn't prove it, I dropped it.
And you really weren't afraid, right?
I was afraid at the time.
Why didn't, I get frustrated when people forget about visitation. I get really frustrated about that.
He cancels his visitations all the time, and it's okay with the courts. But when I really did. I truly.
It's not even bothersome to you. Somebody picks up your daughter and takes your daughter someplace else. You don't even have to look at him. You just have to make her available.
I do. She's available. She's available most of the time. That's one visit that he was there for, and that I couldn't.
How many visits did you, in fact, bring your daughter for?
At least 5 or so.
How many?
Your Honor, I've seen my daughter in the past 6 months 8 times. And according to the courts, if I would have been allowed to see my daughter for the entire 6 months that she was awarded a restraining order for, it would have amounted to 22 hours. And the 6 months expired on the 5th of this month. And I must add, Your Honor, after I was arrested for violating a restraining order, Mrs. Moore came up to my residential area.
What do you mean she came up to your area?
She came up to it's an area called Manton Heights.
What was she doing there? Did she come to your house?
I have no idea what her intentions were to be there, but if she was so fearful of me...
You didn't speak to her?
No, I did not, Your Honor.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
I actually
told
ran
that he
from
was
her.
not living at... No, you did not see me. I was told that he was not living in Manton Heights anymore. I've been told that many a time. So if I was in the neighborhood, it had nothing to do with him.
I want to get to the counterclaim. Let me hear this nonsense. 1999, you bought a car.
Yes.
And you say it's your car. You
Yes,
say he
it
drove
is.
the car and he took it in for repairs a year and a half ago, right?
Yes.
Pay attention. And the car's still there because you can't get the car out because the repairs are so much. Is that right?
That's right.
And you want him to pay for the repairs?
He said he was going to pay for the repairs.
You want him to pay for the repairs?
Yes, I do.
Is that when you were living together?
Yes, it was.
Next, let's go to the clothes and furniture.
Well, the clothes, I have some of the receipts.
Who bought the clothes?
My mother did. My mother bought the bassinet that he took from my daughter, some of the personal belongings that he did not give back to my daughter. She bought most of this. She spent like at least $185 and stuff. Plus there's stuff from the baby shower that I received that he did not return to me. And he took them, and when the same worker that comes to get my daughter to take to John for the visitations told me that he said that he's not going to give my daughter's items back because his the daughter that he has with Crystal, they share things. They share items, and he's not giving them back when my mother bought them.
Has the custody matter been resolved yet?
No, it has not.
Well, until the custody matter is resolved, then whoever is going to have the baby on a full-time basis should have that property. But right now, the baby has grown out of a bassinet. I'm sure a 10-month-old baby doesn't sleep in a bassinet.
Yeah, but at the time, that's when he had took it. He took clothes. The only thing they brought her back to me, they didn't bring her back to me with a bottle. They didn't bring her back to me with any milk. She didn't have a bib, anything. The
Who
only
was
thing she had
supporting your
something to
family
sleep.
when you were living together?
The state of Rhode Island, Your Honor.
How?
Through a program called FIP,
What's
Family
FIP?
Independent Program. It's like welfare, Your Honor. But, Your Honor...
Just a second. So, property that was purchased for the baby, for the most part, was purchased with state money. Is that right?
Absolutely, Your Honor.
Just answer my question. Is that right?
No, it's not. My sister gave my mother money, and she gave the money to my mother. I was so upset when I was pregnant because he promised me that he was going to buy the crib, he was going to buy everything for my daughter, and he bought only a couple of items of clothing, and that was it. She didn't have a crib or anything before I was 9 months pregnant. My mother decided to
Let me
take
ask
me
you
to
this
Kmart.
question, Miss Moore.
Yes.
What did you expect him to use for money to buy the baby a crib?
He kept promising me that either he could borrow the money from his brother or he had SSI pending. He was supposed to be approved for SSI.
But he didn't get his SSI, so what did you expect him to buy the crib with?
He said that he would get the crib. He was going to
Well,
get
he
her
didn't get it.
if he...
He didn't get it. And right now you have a whole bunch of clothes that even if he has it in his house, it doesn't fit the baby. You have clothes at the house that belong?
Your Honor, the clothes that I have...
Just answer my
yes,
question.
Your Honor.
The answer is yes.
Yes, Your Honor, that I paid for.
That you paid for?
Yes, and I have the receipts right here, Your Honor.
Okay.
She said I brought a couple of items, you know, but this totals out to a great deal more, Your Honor.
Where did you get the money from?
I borrowed the money, Your Honor.
From whom?
My brother.
Well, that's possible. You borrowed some money, she borrowed some money because the two of you together didn't have enough money to make a baby. So, what do you want me to do?
When she was able to wear those clothes, there was months for where she was able to wear
She's
those
not
clothes.
able to wear them anymore. Some he bought, some with borrowed money, some you bought with borrowed money. That's not why you're here. You certainly wouldn't have brought this countersuit if he hadn't sued you for his bail money back, right?
Well, I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know that
I'm asking you a
could sue
question.
him for that.
I'm asking you a question. You didn't. I mean, you got a car in storage now for a year and a half. You didn't even know if it's still there.
It's still there when I went back to get the estimate for the car.
Yeah.
It's still there. He put it underneath his name, and he didn't put it underneath my name. They think that he was the owner of the car when he put the car.
Couldn't
into
be
the
in your name because you didn't have a driver's license, according to you. Is that right?
I had got the car registered, but I didn't have a.
You
I
didn't
had
have a
learner's
driver's
permit.
license, so you couldn't drive the car.
He didn't have one either.
Terrific. Then you shouldn't have owned the car.
He persuaded me to buy the car. He said that I need it for school, and he also had it a favor for his friend.
Listen to me. I have absolutely no intention of ordering him to pay for the repairs on a car that's been sitting for a year and a half. That's your car. None. And as far as the clothes are concerned, I don't know what pajamas or other things that are hanging around, but none of these things that were of an appropriate size in November are an appropriate size now. He says some of the stuff he bought and some of the stuff you bought. What about the bassinet?
Your Honor...
Just answer my question. Who bought the bassinet?
I have no clue who bought the bassinet,
Where is
Your
it?
Honor. She has the bassinet, Your
No,
Honor.
I do not.
The DCYF worker, she came over to the house after she was awarded my child, or our child, my apologies. And I gave the DCYF worker everything from pajamas, bottles...
Just a second.
No, he did not.
Are you telling me that you do not have the bassinet?
Not at all, Your Honor.
Since when? I mean,
Since
because
I
that would be
gave
the
the-
only thing that you could use again.
Since...
Maybe.
I had 2 bassinets at the house, one for both daughters. However,
no.
She has the bassinet, Your Honor. What she did with it, I have no idea.
I don't have any idea either. Listen, you two people can fight up a storm. You have a matter pending for custody. When is your next trial date?
It's been passed. I have to file a motion. I've been representing myself because I can't afford an attorney. Your Honor, if I may say...
You may say nothing. I don't want to hear anything else.
Okay.
What do you mean it's been passed? What does that mean?
It's been passed on the calendar because what happens is that we need the evaluation.
Gotcha. You have an initial evaluation from that case? I'm just curious.
No, we're waiting for Dr. to see me. Nothing's been provided to me.
Are you currently under supervision of Child Protective Services?
Yes, I am.
You have a caseworker?
Yes, I do. The same worker that takes my daughter back and forth.
And the worker comes to your house and visits?
Yes, she does.
Is this your only child?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Who do you live with?
My father.
Anybody else?
No, just my father.
Who do you live with?
I live with my roommate, Your Honor.
Who's your roommate? Why was there a sigh there, a hesitation, sir?
Why? Because I wasn't certain if I could use his name.
Uh-huh. Mr. Rivers, I believe that you called her very angry when you didn't get your visitation on February 8th. She may have overreacted when she called the police and said that you violated the order of protection by threatening her, but I believe that you actually called her, so you're not going to get your bail money back. I also believe that on your counterclaim, Ms. Moore, that this car business is old history. He's not paying for the repairs on your car. Forget it. What you want from him for the car is 3 times as much as you paid for the car to begin with. That you both paid for the car.
Repairs.
I don't care what it is. It's 3 times as much as you paid for the car. You want almost $5,000 to repair a car that you paid $1,000 for. So don't be ridiculous. And as far as the clothes are concerned, they don't fit. Some he bought, some you bought. You both bought them with either borrowed money or state money. So you don't get your $5,000. You don't get it. That's all. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out. In the matter of Killingsworth versus Chames. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Gentlemen, have seats, please.
Miss Killingsworth, it's your complaint that the defendant assaulted you after an incident that started in a parking lot.
Yes.
When did this happen?
It was on May 16th of 2001 at about 5:30 p.m.
What kind of parking lot was it?
It was a department store parking lot.
Tell me what happened.
My son's dad, Robert Cook, had asked me to come pick him up after I got out of work. It was him and a friend of his. I went to pick him up. As I circled the parking lot after picking them up, I started going by the department store, which is the front of the store. And I do have pictures of the front of the store to show you where they would have been coming out and the fact that there were no stop signs or
let me just take a look.
Pedestrian walks. As I was approaching, you know, I wasn't speeding or anything like that. I saw the defendant and this gentleman here with maybe a 3 or 4-year-old little boy coming out of the department store. As they were coming out, I was kind of driving past them, and I felt, in my judgment, that I had plenty of time to pass before, you know, they were actually into the street. So as I'm coming up, passing them, I could hear them start cussing at me, called me a white, and of course I was immediately offended by that. And as I was passing, I put on my brake and proceeded to flip them off. Wasn't sure totally if they saw me, but, you know, then I headed on out of the parking lot.
Probably just should have kept going without reacting.
Exactly, and I apologize for that sincerely because I realized I made a big mistake.
Okay.
I left the parking lot, and as I was leaving out onto the street, there's a gas station that, as you can see in the pictures, is located ahead of it. It's the mobile gas station. The gentleman that was with my son's father asked if we would stop at the payphone so that he could make sure that wherever I was taking him to, that they were home, and I said fine. From my car at that payphone, I looked across the parking lot, and I remember Rob and I commenting that, you know, they were like staring us down and looking at us from the parking lot. It kind of worried me at first, but I didn't think much of it. And we're, you know, still waiting for this gentleman to use the phone. And next thing I know, they come pulling up next to my car.
They had gotten into their car?
They had gotten into their car, yes. And there was a small child staring at us out the back window of the car.
Okay.
And both of them immediately got right out of the car, and they started towards my car, and I remember him saying, like, what? You know, like going, what? And I was scared. I didn't know what to do, and as she was approaching my vehicle, she had her fist ready, and I knew something. You know, my window was probably down like that far.
You were still sitting in your car?
I was still sitting in my car. I never, ever got out of my car. They proceeded to start kicking on my car door, and I told them to get the F off my car. And as soon as I said that, she punched me right in my face, and my tooth went directly through my lip. Blood was all over my inside of my car, all over me, and I didn't know what to do. I was kind of disoriented, to be honest with you.
But you never got out of your car?
I never got out of my car.
Up until that point?
Up until that point, no.
Never got out of your car. So she punched you through your car window?
Through my window was probably down about that far.
Okay, I'll hear you.
Okay, as me, my boyfriend and my son was leaving Value City parking lot. As you see in her pictures, that it's a little walkway where you come out the store and you walk across the street. I was walking with my son. I had him walking in front of me. When she was coming down to leave out the driveway, she was speeding. As she's speeding through, she had to go around my son, avoid hitting him.
How old is your son?
My son is 9.
So she went around him?
Right.
Go ahead.
So as she did that, I said she is lucky she did not hit my son.
Is that what you said?
Yes, that's what I said.
Just a minute. You said, you're lucky it didn't hit my son.
Yep.
Okay.
She hit her brakes. She gave me the finger. I told her to pull over. So she went to the gas station.
Okay. And what did you do?
I went over to the gas station. I said,
just a minute. You told her to pull over.
Yes.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
And she didn't pull over in the parking lot. That's clear. She didn't pull over in the parking lot. So you and your boyfriend and your son got into your car and you followed her to the gas station.
Yes.
Of course you did. And what happened when you got to the gas station?
When I got to the gas station, I approached her car.
Now, just a minute. You got out of your car?
Yep.
And what about your boyfriend? Did he get out of the car?
No, not when I did.
Okay, so you jumped out of the car first.
Yes.
And what did you say when you got over to her car?
Did she realize she almost hit my son?
You said that in a calm manner, just like you're saying it to me now.
I was upset, but I wasn't outraged. I was in control of myself.
Okay, so you were in control, and you walked over to her window and said, did you realize you almost hit my son?
Yes.
And she said?
She said, and she swung her arm, and when she swung her arm...
How did she swing her arm?
Her hand came up, like, towards me through the window.
Through the window?
Yes. And that's when I reacted, and I punched her through her window.
Wrong! Wrong! Let me just explain something to you. The window was partially open. You come up to her. She's not out of the car. And you say her hand came up. I mean, if her hand came up, you're in the car, so you're driving this way. So it would have to be her left hand would have come sort of this way out of the car window.
Her hand came out.
You're lucky you're not Pinocchio, because your nose would be growing that long. Oh. You were furious. You were furious. You were furious enough to get into your car and follow them to the gas station, to get out and confront her. Who was kicking her car? Which one of you two geniuses were kicking her car? You genius or her genius?
Nobody kicked her car.
Right. Nobody kicked her car and nobody assaulted her. Let me see whatever bills you have. Did you seek any medical treatment pictures?
Actually, when the ambulance, they pulled up and assessed me, they said that most of the damage was on the inside of my mouth and that it would cause more of a scar if I did go to the hospital. I also did not have medical insurance, but I do have where I went to a plastic surgeon because it will cost me to replace the scar on my face. And I also
Could you
have
step up? I want to see the scar that you're talking about. Did you take any photographs, by the way?
Yes, I did.
I'd like to see them. Don't have it fixed. Step back. Don't have it fixed. More aggravation to have it fixed. Looks just fine.
Thank you.
You get older, it's just another one of those lines that's going to creep around your face. You just sort of have a preview of what the other side's going to look like.
Right.
I know you don't understand that because you have a mustache.
I thought it was because black don't crack.
No. You're not going to escape. Nobody escapes, kiddo.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Amy Killingsworth says, during an argument in a parking lot, she was struck in the mouth by Talisha Chains. Talisha says Amy swung first.
Now, was she arrested?
Actually, no. I wrote down her license plate number. May I also say that the gentleman did also hit me from within my car. He hit me 3 times in the back of my head.
That is not true.
I have not seen him since, and I'm kind of emotional about it, but yes, he did. He's the one that kicked on my car door. Actually, both of them were. She was more towards this side of my car. He was right at the side.
Out of control.
And
they
he
were out
spit in
of
my
control.
face.
Now, let me tell you this, Mr. Killingsworth. When you're in a parking lot, you're supposed to go very slowly, and if you see somebody, especially if you see people with children, whether there's a stop sign or not,
I agree.
They got the right of way.
Yeah.
No question about that. They got the right of way. That does not excuse the violence that came as a result of that, especially violence in front of your child. What you do is you explain to your child that that woman there did not do the right thing. You're driving a car, you don't try to get around people who are crossing. Would you stop smirking? It's really irritating to me.
She's talking to me.
Excuse me? You're lucky you weren't arrested. I don't know why you weren't arrested. I would have arrested you.
All I got was the license plate, and we didn't know who they were.
How did you finally find out who they were?
She ended up working at a call center that I used to work at. My sister had went up there to visit some friends and saw the car in the parking lot, remembered the license plate number I had given to her. And I know all the managers up there, and I was given her name. And
You mean after they assaulted you, they just took off?
They took off. Because Robert got on the phone to call 911, and as soon as they saw that he was on the phone, they took off.
Just stop a second.
He was already on
Byrd,
the phone.
will you get him out of here? I can't stand to look at him with that smirk.
Sure thing. Come on, man.
Aside from the fact he thinks he's going to a basketball game, that outfit, instead of court. Your lawsuit seeks $3,000 in damages.
Yes, ma'am.
You got it. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,000.
Thank you so much.
Excuse, you may step out.
She started it all. Now she's trying to act like she's the victim.
And her lip cut up, whatever.
I would have never tried to hit any child, and that was not how it went.
She's looking all innocent with her crying and things, but what really happened is what really happened.
Keep to yourself.
Cry, show a little emotion.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Hunt versus Villa. Step forward, please.
34-year-old homemaker Audra Hunt is suing the mother of her boyfriend's ex, 38-year-old housing specialist Barney Villa, for the title on a car. Barney is countersuing for the balance on the vehicle.
Miss Hunt, the defendant is your child's paternal grandmother?
Not my child, my boyfriend's child.
Your boyfriend's child's
Yes, ma'am.
grandmother?
Yes, ma'am.
And about a year or so ago, you purchased a used car from her?
Yes, ma'am.
According to you, you purchased it for $1,000. You took possession of the car, you gave her $1,000. Didn't get the title for the car.
No, ma'am.
And now she refuses to give you the title to
Yes,
the car. You want the title. Defendant says you didn't finish paying for the car, and she has a counterclaim. What year car did you purchase from her, and when?
I purchased a 1990 Mazda 323 in February 15th of 2001.
And you gave her $1,000?
Yes, ma'am.
There's no dispute as to that, is that correct?
She gave me $1,000, that's correct.
Now, you didn't get the title at that time. Can you explain why?
Well, I asked Miss Villa if I could keep the title in her name because I've had really, really bad luck with cars. Every time I get a car put in my name, it breaks down. Something major happens to it. So I asked her, she said that was fine, wasn't a problem at all, so.
Who insured the car?
There was no insurance on it. We thought there was insurance on it. Mrs. Villa had gave us a insurance paper that she said she had got off of the internet with our names on it.
How old are you?
I am 34.
You buy a car, you get insurance. What do you mean there's no insurance on it? You bought a car. You have to have insurance on the car. You expected her to keep the insurance on the car, Miss Hunt?
No, ma'am. I tried to get insurance on it. They wouldn't give me insurance on it because it was not registered in my name.
So, if you tried to get insurance, and I assume that you tried to get insurance before you drove the car.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Yeah. And they told you can't get insurance because you don't have any insurable interest in the car. It's not in your name.
Yes, ma'am.
So then, despite your superstition with regard to having a car in your name and it'll break down, then you call Miss Villa and you say, well, I'm going to need the title and keep my fingers crossed that the car doesn't break down. But you didn't do that for a whole year.
No, ma'am.
Well, why not? What did you do with the car for a whole year?
I've had the car in my possession for a whole year.
And driving it without insurance?
No, I wasn't driving the car. I don't have a driver's license. My boyfriend was. But he was under the impression that we had insurance with the paper that she gave us until we called and they told us we had no insurance.
All right, Miss Villa, let me see if I can get a cogent story from you. We're not talking to some 17-year-old here. Go ahead, let me hear what you have to say.
Well, actually, Your Honor, the car was sold for $1,500. Actually, I gave her option.
No, that's not true. So I don't want you to tell me. It wasn't sold for $1,500.
Well, okay. That was the asking price. Excuse me. Actually, I gave her option to go pay, which at the time I thought it was $389, you know, for the title, because the car wasn't paid off.
So there was still some money owed on the car. When you sold it to her for $1,000, there was still money owed on the car.
Right.
How much money was owed on the car?
At the time, I thought it was $386, but I learned that it's only $365.
Okay. And what did you tell her with regard to this $365?
I told her that I still owe $380, which at the time I thought it was $380. You could either go pay that or give me $500, which she said that she would pay the $380.
Okay. Now, tell me about the title. How come you kept the title?
Because the car's not paid for. Why would I give the title away for something that I didn't receive the full amount for?
So you wanted to be cleared?
Yes.
Of this money. That sounds logical. Sounds more logical than the superstition baloney. Okay, go ahead.
Your Honor, I do have contracts and everything stating that I had insurance on the vehicle.
You paid for insurance all year?
No. I'm talking about when I had the car.
When you had the car, but when you gave the car to them, you dropped the insurance?
Yes.
Well, that was really foolish.
Why?
Why? Because the car is still in your name, that if she had an accident or her boyfriend had an accident,
it would fall back on me.
They falls on you. Then they really just driving the car that's in your name. You're very lucky that they didn't have an accident. Did you pay this $365?
No.
So nobody paid it?
No, it's still outstanding.
Since when?
Can I give you this slip?
Sure. So are you telling me that if they get $365, they will clear the title?
Yes.
And then you will give the title to her?
Yes.
Oh, what an easy case.
Yes.
Okay. You have the title?
It's not
with
paid
you?
for.
No, do you have well, you have the title that says lien holder on it. The lien holder is auto sales.
Oh, you're talking about as far as the registration form.
I'm talking about the title to the car.
I just got this in the mail for... You're losing me, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
Okay. Byrd, my problem is if you don't understand it, then I'm not making myself clear to these people. Now, she has a counterclaim for $365 because she said that's what she really sold her the car for. $1,000 to her. There was a little money left due and owing on the car. $365 she wants paid off directly to auto sales. Once the car title is cleared, she will sign it over to the plaintiff. So what you need is an order from me on your counterclaim for $365.
Okay.
You will then receive a title and turn the title over to her.
That's correct.
You understand?
I was under the understanding that the car was paid for, that she had paid for the car. All she wanted was $1,000. I gave her the $1,000. I had $1,750 the day I gave her the $1,000. If the agreement would have been for $1,500, I would have gave her the $1,500 without a problem. This was a family situation, you know, and I didn't think it was going to end up coming to court. I thought that since, you know, we were family, that she would just hand over the title and everything would be taken care of.
Madam, my only problem with you is that I don't believe this story that you gave me with regard to your superstitions about having a car in your name and leaving the title with her so that it would ward off the evil spirits which would not attack your car if it was in your name. I don't believe that story from a 34-year-old person. This doesn't tell you that she sent stuff and that your deal was concluded. The money is still owed to auto.
If I knew the money was owed, I would have taken care of the payment, not the $300, whatever it is owed, the day I gave her the $1,000.
Well,
without a problem.
I'm telling you, I don't buy the story about the evil spirits attacking a car that's in your name, madam. So right now, what you're going to do is you're going to take care of the final payment, and hopefully you will get the car title in your name. I certainly suggest that you not drive that car while it's not in your name, because if you do, you're responsible.
I know.
Oh, well, now you know. Good.
I know,
so the
then,
court will prepare the order. $365 on the counterclaim. Title will be turned over and signed over to the plaintiff as soon as the $365 is paid. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out. Seated. Ladies have seats, please.
Okay. This case has to do with who ultimately is going to be the owner of and the caretaker of this little dog. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
So I would like the dog outside. Miss Knight, the defendant is, or was, your son's girlfriend. Is that right?
She still is, Your Honor.
Okay. According to your complaint, some time ago, she asked you if you would be interested in taking her dog.
That's correct.
You said yes, you took the dog, and many months later, she came and took the dog back.
That's correct.
And you want the dog or some sort of compensation for the dog?
I want the dog.
Ms. Nelson says that this was never a gift to you, but merely a loaner dog, and the dog is rightfully hers. She has the papers for the dog. She merely asked you to watch the dog for a while, and she is counterclaiming because she alleges that you assaulted her when you attempted to get the dog back. Correct?
That's correct.
Okay. When and under what circumstances did you take custody of this dog?
Last May, at my son's birthday breakfast, Gina asked me if I would be willing to give her dog a home, that it was outside all the time. It wasn't getting the attention it needed.
Why was it outside all the time?
As I understand it, because she wasn't completely housebroken and they didn't like the accidents in the home.
Okay.
I said, sure, I would take her. I'm a big dog lover. Approximately 2 to 3 days later, my son brought the dog over.
How old was the dog at that time?
As I understand, almost 3. Over the months, of course, I fell in love with her. She's a darling little dog. Over the months, I allowed Gina and the children, she has 2 daughters, to come visit the dog whenever they wanted. My daughter took the dog to Gina's for a birthday party for the dog. And then February 17th, Krista, the older daughter, called asking if they could have, I call her Sissy, for a visit. I said, call me tomorrow because I'm a night worker. I was leaving for work. The next morning at 7:30, Gina called me. I said, sure, come on over. She came over. The dog was on antibiotics at that time for just having a dental exam and ointment for her ears. I gave Gina the medication and some dog food. She asked me what time I wanted her back. I said, just keep her for the night because I will go to sleep. By the time I wake up, it will be way too late. I said, please leave me your phone number. I'll call you tomorrow when I get up and around. The next day, I tried calling, and I started calling early afternoon. I wasn't getting an answer. I didn't really think too much of it. By around 5 o'clock, I still wasn't getting a machine or an answer. I called my son, who was just about ready to leave work. I said, Jason, can you go get the dog? Gina's not answering the phone. He had said they'd had a little spat and hadn't spoken for a few days. He would go get the dog. An hour or two later, he came to my front door and said, Mom, she doesn't want to give the dog back. And I said, let's go. I want to go get my dog back. So he took me down to, she had just moved into another residence. I didn't know where she lived. He took me down there. I knocked on the door. I could see she was looking through the peephole. And I said, Gina, give me back my dog. She opened the door and she said, it's my dog. I have the papers to prove it. And I'm calling the police and you're going to jail. And she pushed me out the door by my face. I grabbed her by the shirt. I saw the little girl run past, and I said, this is ridiculous. And I went out and waited for the police. I was upset. I was crying. I'm devastated over this.
Okay. Let's go back to May of last year. Tell me the conversation that you allege you had with Miss Knight with regard to taking possession of the dog.
Okay, we were moving somewhere which did not allow pets and didn't have a backyard, so I asked her if she'd be willing to take care of my dog since she had 2 little chihuahuas of her own. And she said sure she would, and I wanted to go visit, I wanted somewhere where I can still go visit her and take my children.
Where had you lived before that?
It was a 3-bedroom duplex with a backyard.
So why were you moving?
The rent was going up from $650 to $950, and I'm a single mother with 2 children. I couldn't afford it.
How long was the lease?
The lease was month to month.
Go ahead.
It was understood at the time.
Don't tell me what was understood. I want to know what you said to her, what you claim you said to her, and what she said to you.
Okay, I did let her know that it was just until I moved somewhere else in the future with a backyard, and I did want my dog back. And she agreed.
Did you say when that might be?
No, I did not.
So what you're telling me is that you were planning on letting this dog live with her for a year or maybe more.
Well,
Since you didn't know where you were going to be moving, and then you wanted the dog back.
Correct.
Didn't you have any concern that the dog might become attached to her and her family?
Yes, I did, but we didn't have a verbal agreement. in the beginning that I could get my animal back.
That's what you claim. That's not what she says.
Right, correct.
That's what you claim.
ما جاتش بنك نسيت ابارك ودي نسيت صور وش معايا في الجاكيت مشاكلنا صعب امتى تسلم وليه بتكمل نص ديني وهي دينها منا انا جسمي كله شوك ما تقربش مني انا راسي جواها خوف ما تقربش مني بعمل بكره يبعد محتاج هدوء محتاج تفكير عشان اكمل
انا مش ناسي اللي فات تعبت من كتر الكلام اسمي سابق كل الناس يومي ما بيكملش الا بالكاس
الشغلة مش خلصان بالفلوس نتراد زميلي شكلك من فرنسا في جزمتي فوق راسك وده مش فيلم اديك تكش اديك نكست راوند سكيب عشان في العادي نك تيجي هنا نقدموك نعلموك الفن صح ما تسعناش انا وانت زميلي حتى لو مش برضا انا دايما الاول ندخلوك زميلي ما صح نعمل عليك زميلي الدخله نسوحوك نرموك على الارض انا مش ناسي اللي فات تعبت من كتر الكلام اسمي سابق كل الناس يومي ما بيكملش الا بالكاس انا مش ناسي اللي فات تعبت من كتر الكلام اسمي سابق كل الناس يومي ما بيكملش الا بالكاس مش هتسلك يا زميل دول بيعبدوا الكيف فاكرين الدنيا دي سعيد ده صاحب البيت كان ضيف وانا هنا شالب كارتي واعمل منك فقرة مش طالب من الدنيا غير نجاح وشهرة تعبنا زميل الطاقة بتروح ولسه بتخلص كله بيمشي ويرجع تاني مجدد نسخة بتحبوني او لا خلاص ما بقتش فارقة بحب نفسي كتير عشان دايما بتكسب ده بمزاج يا زميلي انا مش بمشي بالاصول ما بسيبش حقي يضيع حتى لو هطلع مقتول ده زمايلي في ضهري نعمل من المايل معدول واللي خان اكيد ما كانش في يوم هيكون رسول